Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Big Finish Fans. In today's Big Finish Fans, we're tier listing some Time War stories. Once again, I'm joined with Luke, as ever.
Yes, we'll be diving into the Time War together. Not just the Eighth Doctor, not just the War Doctor. We've also got War Master thrown in, Shadow of the Daleks. Basically, we've taken a look at the collections tab for the Time War and thrown everything that's on there in. Really, I know it's branched out to like a couple of other releases as well, but that's usually more of like surprise
Yeah.
appearances, I suppose you'd
Mm.
call it, of the Time War, rather than an actual Time War release. And sometimes it's sort of there, but not quite. So we are aware that we've not got everything necessarily Time War related that Big Finish has come out with.
Yeah. I think
But
there's
we've
a
gone
short
for
trip missing as
yeah,
well,
yeah, we got
which,
those short trips in there too.
yeah.
But yeah, so we basically just thrown in everything that Big Finish considers as the main Time War output they do. Um, yeah, that's what you've got to look forward to in a little bit with our tier list.
But before we do that and let people join in before we get to the meat of this stream, what we've been doing since we last spoke.
Now, oh, hello, stylish one. Thank you for joining
Hello.
us.
Thank you.
Uh, I've had a little bit of a family gathering over the weekend.
Very
So that was
wholesome.
quite, yeah. Got to see my cousin's babies. So I've got two
I,
cousins
oh, super
who
lower.
are parents now. Like one of them has got a 1.5-year-old, so he's really sweet, and then also the other one's got a 4-month-old now.
Mm.
So yeah, she was really tiny. But yeah, that was a highlight of the weekend, I suppose. Also watching The Last of Us again. Have you caught up with episode 3?
Yes, I
Ah,
have.
brilliant stuff.
It's got such
Oh,
meta-textual stuff to it about,
yeah,
yeah, it's really good stuff.
yeah. I saw even Russell Davis came out and praised that one.
Mm.
He went out on Instagram, did a little
Understandably,
post. Yeah, it is brilliant stuff. Yeah, pulls on the heartstrings so much.
like I know it deviates from like the game,
Yeah,
but I genuinely don't mind it because it's a
yeah.
really good episode.
I think thing is a lot of the way the game works for that part of the story, it is, like all of it, designed to be told in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with a TV show, this is something you could only really do in a TV show. Like, I mean, you could
Yeah,
theoretically do a game about this part of it, but it wouldn't be that entertaining
I
as a
guess
game.
it'll be redo the traps and stuff like that, really. And
Yeah, pick your
don't burn the food.
pick your strawberries.
Eat the
Yeah,
strawberries.
it's like quick time events for all these different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly it's a change, but it's one that is worthwhile making because it's making use of the medium that both of these stories are being told in.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's a way of better highlighting the gay representation in this story
Yeah.
because it's not necessarily a happy ending because it's still a post-apocalyptic world. You've got to have it be bittersweet,
But they
but
got the
it's
happiest ending they could get because I
yeah,
reckon with the society that they're in, they wouldn't be able to marry. So
no.
it was nice for them to have that last day to marry.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it was when the world fell apart. It was 2003 in this story,
Yeah.
so gay marriage didn't become legal in America until 2014, I think.
And you've got a
Um,
pretty like totalitarian like society in the form of like Fedra. So
yeah,
yeah.
the government are all Nazis.
Oh, love Bill.
Oh, it makes you laugh and it makes you cry, and yeah, and it's great seeing more of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey together as Joel
It's
and
quite
Ellie.
it's quite a light episode for them, but
Mm,
when they do appear, you're like, oh, we're starting to get like the Joel and Ellie dynamic of the game, really.
yeah, like it's only two short segments, like one right at the start and one right at the end, isn't it, for them? And then like the
Yeah.
main meat is the Bill and Frank plot,
Mm.
which is like people say, "Oh, this is filler. What's the point in this?" But it adds so much to the overall story in terms of, what people are living for. It's about surviving versus, living. And that's great stuff and really does add a lot to the journey that Joel and Ellie are just beginning to embark on.
Hmm.
Yeah. And there's that wonderful scene where she's reading out the letter as well and just does the
Yeah, that was nice.
Like I said, makes you laugh,
Yeah.
makes you cry. Great
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
just can't wait for more of this show. But yeah, for those who have just joined us, we're going to talk about The Last of Us, by the way.
Hmm.
But yeah, I suppose otherwise, I've been listening to Big Finish. Going
Standard.
through,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
as you
Good.
do.
Good.
Going through Time War cast, ready for this. And also downloaded the Instant Part 1 today, gave that a listen. And that was a great start to the story. It's
A chunky episode.
about just over 30 minutes.
Okay, so
So
good
not too.
length.
Yeah. It's not like Annihilator's Part 1 short, but it sets the scene well.
I'm excited. I'll give that a listen pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, hear where this one goes. But yeah, I mean, before that, we will have the Demon song to listen to as well.
I mean, I think that's the release I'm most excited about to listen to. Demon Song. I'm just very excited because the Outlaws. The more I think about it, the more I'm excited. It's such a good release.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get round to the Miniaturist before the box set drops. And we have dates as well, don't we? Stephen Noonan let us know sneakily beforehand that it would be coming February 16th. That one. And Big Finish have now confirmed that on Twitter. I mean, speaking of dates, do we want to reveal the schedule for this month from us?
Yes, we can do.
Yeah, because we're all set for this month. We've got the thumbnails ready and everything, haven't we?
Yeah, so I'll probably do a tweet tomorrow showing all the thumbnails with it all going forward. Obviously, tonight we have the Time War ranked. Then Friday the 10th, we have a Torchwood Big Finish fans covering all manner of Torchwood releases.
Yeah, basically just our excuse to cover everything we listened to last year and a bit of this year as well with Double that we didn't quite get around to speaking about fully.
And then the 17th of February, we'll be doing Kaleidoscope, the third Doctor Adventures.
Oh, Gus. Bit of a
Kaleidoscope.
It seems like a fitting time to do it though, because the day before you've had Stephen Noonan back as the first Doctor, who of course was in Kaleidoscope as is it General Sokolov?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
he's also
Keith.
Yeah, Keith as well, and the nanobots.
Yeah,
and he might have played like one or two other little roles that I threw out. And then the week after that, it'll be the next third Doctor box set, the return of Joe Jones, because that date was revealed as Thursday the 23rd. So it seems a good time to look back at some Stephen Noonan and the third Doctor content.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And then the 24th of February, we'll be doing a tier list on the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 2. So that's what you've got to look forward to this month in terms of streams. So we've got you covered.
Yeah, we're sticking to our weekly schedule at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. So that's all good.
Oh, Stylish One says DWM are doing another big poll for the 60th anniversary. Has that started now then that they're asking people to submit stuff?
I mean, the magazine has dropped through the door. I've not had chance to look at that bit, but I was busy looking at the season 9 disc breakdown to see how much new stuff there is, and there's a lot of new stuff actually.
Oh, that'd be exciting. Stylish One says, did you see that unused cover for Time War 5 in DWM? I mean, I haven't got DWM, but Ben has. Have you seen that?
I can't say I remember.
Be something to flick through and find a bit later, maybe.
I mean, which issue is it? I'll be interested to know.
No, I imagine the latest one, but yeah, let us know, stylish one. Is the First Doctor Companion Chronicle from Volume 2 here? No, it is not, I'm afraid.
Do they really count?
It's like vaguely referenced, isn't it? I don't know if the words time were ever exactly spoken out loud. But I mean, Big Finish haven't included it in their Time War collection, so
Where?
yeah. I'm afraid it's missing from here.
Does anybody want the Space Pirates animation? I think at some point we've got to cross that bridge.
Yeah. I think
So, yeah,
it'd
we'll
be
have
good
it.
to have it just to fill that gap, but it's not what I'm clamoring for above others.
Yeah, it'd probably be the last animation, maybe.
Yeah. Which companion would you most like to see get a Further Adventures box set? Our stylish one. Lucy, Tamsin, Charlie, Mary Shelley, or Molly?
That's a really tricky one.
Yeah.
So I think each has their own merit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Lucy, it's fairly guaranteed we're getting something more of her at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost don't want to say that just because, it's something we've had before
Yeah.
and we are going to get again. But at the same time, I do really want more Lucy anyway.
Same with Charlie, I think. They're pretty much
You feel like,
guarantee.
you want to go for the more, not unlikely option as such, but obscure, I guess.
I mean, I can see. For me, I'd want a bit more Molly because I think Ruth Bradley didn't get the send off she really.
She was cut short, wasn't she?
Yeah, so I feel
Just
like
because,
that would be nice.
yeah. It seems to happen with Eighth Doctor companions because now the same things happen to Raki Thakra.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if they can get Ruth back in studio, I think that would be good. And I feel like there is a gap, isn't there? Like maybe
Yeah.
during Dark Ice 2, before they pick up Liv.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah, that'd
there?
be nice.
Yeah, could they have had some adventures then, perhaps?
But then the Mary Shelley stuff I really like because that was like the first bit of Eighth Doctor stuff I started to explore in. So I wouldn't mind like a gothic box set. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I know some people have said, imagine if they throw a curveball and get the actress from Haunting of Villa Diodati instead of Julie Cox.
That'd be a recast.
Yeah.
Interesting
So
thought.
says, I will say, great to see a Big Finish stream tonight after a lot of hurtful discourse towards Big Finish. This stream is much needed for Big Finish fans. We are glad we can give back to the community, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a safe space for all opinions. We love Big Finish here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we're here only to spread, positivity, really.
we voice our criticisms as well.
Yeah, but I
We're not
think
paragons of positivity as such, but certainly in a sense of supporting Big Finish as a whole and their business model, we are.
yeah, we're all for supporting small businesses, and they're giving us new Doctor Who. What more do you want, really?
Yeah. Also, I think some of the discourse has been about the price, which, I mean, we will happily admit is expensive stuff. It is a luxury. It's not something that everyone can afford, especially not in the quantity that Big Finish puts out. I did see one comment about how come DVDs, where that's got all the visual stuff, is so much often cheaper or similarly priced when Big Finish is just audio. But a lot of that comes down to a little thing called economies of scale, which is how, if you are producing something that is more popular, that more people will buy, then just by the virtue of more people putting money towards it, it becomes cheaper to, well, not cheaper to make, but a cheaper price you can sell. Whereas with Big Finish, with that being audio, with
It's
that being
niche
quite
as
a
well.
niche, yeah, you're going to have less people who are interested in buying that, and therefore the price per customer has to go up to make sure it balances out the production costs. And Big Finish have come out and said, they're not doing this to make a massive profit. It is very much fans doing
It's
passion
for the love of
projects, really.
stories, isn't it?
Very much so. And so, that is why things are priced the way they are, so that they can pay writers, directors, actors, sound designers, everyone there a fair rate, really. Because these people don't want to do it for free. It's quite understandable, and they're not lining their pockets afterwards either. It is done at a price that is affordable enough for the audience, also enough to facilitate production costs. So ultimately, if you're in a position, support Big Finish where you can.
We get good stories. What more do you want? It's new Doctor Who for when we're in a Doctor Who drought, really.
And I think they've been doing very well with getting stuff out there for free anyway.
Yeah.
Like there are so many ways, like there's so many free part ones available out there, or
the
sometimes entire
podcast
stories. Yeah.
is a great way of getting a little tease. If that tease does something for you, go out, get the full release. There's constant sales. The podcast, does the randomoid selectron. Like, there are ways around it. There's a big back catalogue. There's Spotify.
BBC Sounds with the War Doctor at the moment.
Yeah, so if you like what we say about the War Doctor stuff, then you can check out some of those stuff on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, lots of different places you can find Big Finish for free that still support Big Finish as a business.
Because I know they did like the humble bundles where you can get like a whole load of Big Finish download.
Yeah, that was like cheap,
and like the money goes to like children in need, so it all helps.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, going back to our first topic, how have you been, Ben? What have you been up to?
How have I been? I've been in the mood for some Third Doctor because of the season 9 news. Last night I decided to put on a Third Doctor story, and I put The Mind of Evil
on. Good choice.
Yeah, which I'm enjoying, but I do have a bit of a niggle with part 1's like touch up.
Oh, what's this?
This is going to make me sound really pedantic, and I know. And
is it John's costume?
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
Like, what's the problem?
The restoration's great, but it just niggles me that in part 2, it seems to go. They've managed to fix it. So it's a part 1 problem at the minute.
I think part 1 was colorized by frame by frame, wasn't it? Or keyframes, I believe it's called. Where like they recolor the specific frames to go along. Whereas parts 2 to 6, I think that was done through chroma dot recovery or something like that.
I think they're all done by chroma dot, and I think they probably had to go over part 1 by hand just to iron out like the fringes of it. I think.
Yeah. I think part 1, part 1's definitely done slightly differently from the rest. So yeah, that's probably why that is.
But yeah, that kind of makes it even more painful actually that it was done by hand and they missed it. But this is just a pedantic Pertwee fan here, so just take it with a pinch of salt.
You're past part 1 now.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about it now. Yeah, sorry.
But John's jacket has a black piping trim around it. And you can see that they've recolored it, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb, and it just niggles me. That's it. That's it.
There you go.
But it's still very good. Very good stuff.
It's such a wonderful, grittier story, isn't it?
You definitely get that with like Don Houghton stuff. Like it's interesting how you kind of got a season 7 John in it, because I don't think you have the lovable third Doctor in Mind of Evil.
It's funny how like you have a sharp change with Terror of the Autons, and then a sharp change back here.
And then Axos, you've kind of get the best of both. You get that nice sort of balance of it, where you have him locking horns of Chin, but then you have the lovely sweet moments of Joe and Filer.
Yeah.
But I like the stuff with Captain Yates, like Cheshire Cat and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Which is
fun.
lovely.
Them
Which is lovely.
Them both just getting under the on the Brigadier's nerves a bit.
And especially when he goes to see like the Chinese delegate, and they're just sort of talking. It's great, and the brig's like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, just like the closing shot of that scene where the Brigadier just sits down on the chair, defeated, like throws his hat on his lap.
Oh, it's great, and it's got some brilliant like brig one-liners in it.
There's also some wonderful lines from the Doctor and the Master as well. Like there's that great moment of, "Or I'll put a bullet through both your hearts."
Really good stuff.
And I think Jo is very well served by the story as well. Like she single-handedly is they're responsible for stopping a prison riot.
So
yeah, she gets a good amount of stuff to do in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted just to carry on watching all of season 8, and then the time I finish that, season 9 will hopefully drop through the letterbox.
Yeah, you could do. Didn't you do Claws not that long ago though?
I can watch it again.
You could do. Yeah,
I can watch the extended episode 1. It'll be new.
Yeah. You got
again.
Colony in Space is always great as well. I know that's one that gets a bit more flack, but I like it.
I like Colony. It's a good one. I like them all, so it's fine.
And by the way, Luke, why did you start with Dark Eyes 3 rather than delve into his backlog?
Yeah, Luke. Why did you do that?
Like we were saying earlier about money and such, Dark Eyes 3 was £20 at the time because it was still on pre-order price.
I missed that £20 pre-order price. That was a dangerous thing, that was.
It's amazing how, like, it used to be £20 as well. Exactly. It wasn't $19.99, which is all Big Finish now is at the 99 point. But yeah, with that, it was slap bang on £20. But yeah, and then it went up to £40 when, like, the pre-order discount run out. And so that means I couldn't quite go back to Dark Eyes 1 or 2. So I was waiting for them to go on sale. And I thought, you know what, I might as well just jump on now with what is going to be the latest box set, really. It's like the same thing as just tuning into the TV show as a new episode comes out. Yeah, that's pretty much my reasoning there. Favorite companion for each Doctor based solely on Big Finish. Our stylish one.
Oliver Harper for the first Doctor. Then second Doctor, my God. I don't. It's going to sound bad, but I don't really know for second Doctor. There's nobody who jumps out for me. Like just solely off audio.
I mean, imagine we can include TV companions as well.
Oh, I was just going solely like Big Finish.
I was thinking TV companions, but based on how audio treats them and expands them. Was that?
Then I have to go Stephen if it was first Doctor.
Yeah, I'd probably go Stephen or Vicky, maybe. But again, I really do like what Jamie Glover's done with Ian. I think, yeah, that's all. But then I wonder how much of that is, Ian on audio and how much of it is how I see Ian on TV translated into audio. It's hard to differentiate the two, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I think it's easier to split TV from audio than it is audio from TV.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, Third Doctor, I'd say Liz has probably got a really
Yeah,
good deal at
I'd
the
say
moment.
Liz, because you got like the stuff with River and then like the Companion Chronicles. They're great.
Mm. Fourth Doctor, I suppose
Leela,
Leela.
because
Yeah,
of the
she's,
teacher student thing of series 3.
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I more see when I think of Leela, I more think of her Big Finish version and her TV version a lot of the time.
It feels weird going back to like the TV stuff.
Yeah, because you definitely can tell that some writers had less of a grip on her as a character than others, and you've also got that whole thing of Tom Baker and well, I don't want to say them not getting on because it's not necessarily anything on Louise. It's more just Tom Baker being
Tom.
Tom Baker towards her.
But I think that's the lovely thing about Leela starting is that you have Chris Boucher writing her first 2 stories, so you've got that sort of consistency.
Yeah, and then with Robert Holmes as well, you've got someone who was the script editor for those two, and so that then carries on through the Talons of Wing Triang. But certainly when you get to season 15, that it gets a bit more iffy. Yeah, series 3 of the Fourth Doctor Adventures does great work with Leela as a character, looking into her past and how she feels about her father and such. It's all wonderful stuff that was barely there on TV, but can really be expanded upon on audio. I mean, Nyssa jumps out for the Fifth Doctor.
I think
She's
this is the
given
obvious
much
one.
more character. Yeah. I mean, sorry, Josh Snares, but she didn't have much of a character on TV.
Gonna zap you with the gun now.
Oh no.
You're gonna get zap.
Sixth Doctor. I mean, there's a bunch of good ones for 60.
I'd
Flip.
like, yeah, Flip. I'll go Evelyn just to be different.
There you go. Seventh Doctor now. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. I like Ace, but Ace can be very different depending on which one you're listening to.
I think Ace's story's pretty much done on TV. I think that going off what Big Finish do is expanding, I'd probably have to go Bonnie Langford and Mel.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
Just for sheer character development.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ace, you know what you're getting into with Ace on Big Finish because of how well she is done on TV.
Yeah. Would you say you prefer Mel with the Sixth or the Seventh Doctor?
I would say.
Would you prefer your Mel with you?
Well, that's a tricky question. I would say
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I'd probably say McCoy because I feel like there's least done with them, and I get quite excited when it's Seven and Mel.
Yeah, especially with more recently how pretty much we've had Mel and everything with the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah,
I think that has sort of, and the quality of that has sort of put me off it and put me more in line with the Seventh Doctor. But Mel's a bit unfortunate as a companion because of the 2 Doctors she's with, she's not the most iconic companion for either of them.
Yeah, whereas Clara is very much Capaldi's companion.
Yeah. I mean, even though I much prefer Bill,
Yeah,
I think, general fandom does quite rate Clara and 12. Same with Fourth Doctor and Sarah, they are sort of a very iconic pairing. Tegan, very much iconic with the Fifth Doctor.
Rabbits.
But when it comes to the Sixth Doctor, it's almost always Sixth Doctor and Perry. People don't really think about Sixth Doctor and Mel so much. And Seventh Doctor, it's always Seventh Doctor and Ace. So Mel, despite getting to be with both of them, is sort of very forgotten in that brief period of time in the middle there. Like, she only had 6 stories on TV.
But I tell you who she is companion for.
Who's that?
Michael Jaston's Valeyard.
So
she gets her own Doctor because she had it in like He Jester Scars and Brink of Death. So you know what, Bonnie Langford can have Michael Jaston.
made for each other.
There we go.
Well, we have it. Oh, Daniel Hager, the second Doctor fan. I got some more Big Finish unit today, like Encounters and Nemesis Free Objective Earth. Which one was Encounters again? That's the fifth one, isn't it? That's like the anthology one.
That's got like the Inferno one and the Lone Dalek and the Sontaran one, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Stylish one says, fun fact, Legion of the Lost on BBC sounds split into two parts with a new cliffhanger for part one of the War Doctor going, well, what are we waiting for? Which also acts as a cold open for part two. It's nice that they're doing cold opens with like a little reprise, because with the way they split them on the vinyls, it's sometimes the cliffhanger is like awkwardly at the end of a scene, and then you'll start the next scene when you think you could have maybe cut it partway through a scene, like a cliffhanger naturally would. But yeah, it's nice to see they're doing a bit better there. Who've in a small collection? Yo, I just finished Dark Eyes 4. Hope I didn't miss much. I don't think
you've not
missed
missed
too much. Yeah,
not
we've not
missed
started the tier list yet.
Yeah, that's the main thing of the stream. But
Yeah.
glad you're here.
Not actually done the news yet either, so shall we dive into that?
Yeah, I'll do. Well, there's only one little bit of news.
Kind of two.
Oh yeah, but they're sort of intertwined, as it were.
Okay, three then.
Oh, he's pushing it. He's pushing it.
We got a third Doctor trailer. That counts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There you go. That's right. We got a vortex, but I've had a look through. There's not really any juicy bits of detail in there. Just a nice little preview of what's to come.
There we go.
Here we are. So we had the leader story confirmed on Friday, didn't we?
Yes.
And then Monday they come along with this, which is very soon after. I suppose it gives the Meech a bit of time to wow us in their own right, while just announcing it at the same time.
Yeah.
We also have confirmation that the Leela and Fourth Doctor story is a 4-parter.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah. And then this is a 1-parter, presumably 1 hour long. But
yeah, it'll be 1 solid hour, I think.
So yeah, we're going to get Missy and a young Amy Pond, which is played by Caitlin Blackwood, returning to the role.
Gonna get Amy biting Missy.
I think it's a lovely detail of having Missy being one of the
psychiatrists.
Yeah, that's a wonderful take on how to do the story, and it feels
right.
It feels very right for its era. They feel like a great combo, despite being one I'd never have thought of before. Maybe it's because they're both Scottish.
Oh, they're going to be an out-Scottishness.
Scottish competition between them. Who can fry the best?
And stay out.
I think it works wonderfully with that fairy tale vibe of Series 5, particularly the 11th hour. I mean, if you saw the Regeneration Advent calendar, we both loved the 11th hour, didn't we?
Yes, yeah. Safe to say.
And so it's nice having a story that sort of slots into that. And also, it makes sense for Missy to be around at this point anyway, because, it's sort of mentioned in Deep Breath that she's been up and down the Doctor's timeline and such. And also, she was the woman in the shop during Series 7. So it's not like she wasn't a part of the Matt Smith era. She just wasn't on screen for it in a way.
I'm going to be curious to know what theme they do, whether this will have its own individual theme or will this have like the Series 5 theme? Or the Series 8 theme?
The Misty theme?
Like, there's so many options here.
Like, it seems they usually want to give each box set its own theme at the moment. Because, like, 8th of March, Protectors of Time, they all had one theme between them, didn't they? Rather than reusing old themes. Same with Peladon. But hopefully with this, they don't, because it just feel wrong having a four-part Fourth Doctor story and it not including the classic 70s theme.
Yeah, I think that has to be the classic.
Yeah. And I think if you go with that, I think you might as well go with the Series 5 theme for this, since it's taking place during the 11th hour, technically. But we shall see. Ultimately, it's a theme. It doesn't matter that much, but it does to us.
It does. It does. But yeah, definitely going to be a pickup.
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of like a guaranteed pickup anyway with the Fourth Doctor there.
Yeah.
It was just like a curious thing of what story are we going to get paired with this? And yeah, I'm happy with what we seem to be getting. I think this one's called Fairies at the Bottom of the Garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's paired with Ghost of Alchemy. So yeah, hopefully a good little box set there. It seems the 8th of March. I mean, I haven't picked up either of the last two, but I know you haven't. From what I've seen, from what I've heard you say and other people say, it's not been a great range, sadly.
I think the heart's in the right place and what it stands for is great.
It's very much so. It just seems to not have delivered on that so far. But hopefully that can change here.
Yeah, because I imagine Louise Jameson would have had help from like Nigel Fairs. He'd probably give it a look over, because I know they're good friends, but so I can imagine Louise going, Nige, just have a look at this.
I know she had John Dorney script editing as well for this one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting actually, because Louise Jameson, I think her and Colin Baker are sort of the breakout stars of like TV Doctor actors on Big Finish. Just with the amount of stuff they've been doing, like Louise Jameson, being in Torchwood, producing, directing, being an Attigal, Louise Jameson, we know what Louise James writing's like from what's the story called? I forgot what it's called. Damn. The Abandoned.
The Abandoned, yeah. Nigel first. But this seems to be a bit more of a I don't want to say straightforward story, but that was a very weird and out there story. This is a historical tale, so.
But it feels like a labour of love for Louise Jameson by telling this story, really.
Yeah. I mean, I did have a read of what she had to say in Vortex, and it was great hearing her passion for writing for Marie Curie, and also how she understands the writing world in that sense, because in the actual real life version, as you might call it, Marie Curie had 2 daughters traveling with her, but simply due to the nature of recording and such and the way stories work, Louise had to cut them out, which on the one hand was a shame, but on the other hand improved the story that she was trying to tell. And so it's good to see that she is devoted to telling this story the best way it can, and not just to having it be a historical account. Because you've got to make sacrifices, especially when it's an audio drama where you can't have too many voices. There's a limit to how many actors Big Finish can hire for an audio drama. So it's good to see that it's not necessarily cutting corners, but it's cutting off the fat of this particular story. Stylish one. Hopefully this Louise Jameson story is lighter in tone than her Survivors audio, which was one of the darkest and most messed up audios I've heard. I forgot she'd written one of those. Yeah, I can't remember how recent that was. But I mean, with Doctor Who versus Survivors, I think you're definitely gonna have to expect a bit of tonal shift there, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which series was that part of that she wrote? I mean, not gonna go pick it up, but No, I can't find it. No, I'm just going to be clicking through every Survivor's release to find it at this rate. In her story specifically, which is second episode of Box Set 2. Ah, there we go. Thank you for that, Stash
There
one.
we go. There we go.
There's sexual assault, beating, and attempted child murder. Messed up stuff.
That's
Delightful.
definitely heavy.
There we go. But yeah. Also alongside this, Michelle Gomez returning as Missy News, we've got a Big Finish drawing competition.
Yeah, so if you're an artist, you can do a portrait of Leela, Missy, or teenage Amelia Pond, and use a hashtag. Where is it? 8th of March. Is it 8th of March on your post, and you get a chance of getting £100 voucher, I think.
Yeah, to spend on Big Finish, isn't it?
So yeah, good luck if you enter.
Ah.
But it's not digital art. It's got to be pencil and all that painting. Yeah.
Also, just physical of some kind, isn't it? It could be oil painting, crayon, whatever. But yeah, it just has to be physical, not digital art. Yeah, it's be interesting to see what comes out of that. I mean, there was one a couple of years ago, wasn't there? I can't remember. Was it just
that
a
was
River
Vortex?
One?
That was for Vortex
Vortex.
to be a Vortex cover, and I think Sophie Cowdery won that actually. I think, yeah, because she did like the River Song one, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost seems a shame that this is competitions being done so close to the time. Because, you know, had you have done this much earlier, you could have then like put the winning ones in like the inside booklet.
Yeah, because when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, well, these going to be like part for the cover," but no, this is for something completely different.
So imagine the cover's already made and it's already being physically printed at this point.
Yeah, especially with the way the CDs are at the minute, they're coming thick and fast.
Yeah. Have you got your Time War cast then?
It just arrived today.
Well, I suppose we can also have a quick little discussion about the new physical presentation in a way.
We can.
Which logo is being used on the spine? Because now that's all changed up, hasn't it? What do you think of the spine?
It's quite nice. I quite like it, but you put it with the other 8th Doctor audio, it's like this range, it couldn't be consistent even if it tried.
Yeah, it's like it's already missed the mark on that one. So why should it bother at this point?
And it just feels odd that you've put McGann front and center, like, right, surely he'll be on the spine. No, he's not on the spine.
Yeah, it's odd that, like, I kind of understood it for the 8th Doctor Ventures recently, where it's only half of McGann's face on the covers, so it's like maybe they didn't want to have half a face on the spine. But with this, you know, you could have easily had him on there. Is there like some new rule against McGann being on the spines?
I don't do spines.
Perhaps not. It's just an odd one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I've not got it physically, this one. I've just seen pictures online. But yeah, from what I'm seeing at the moment, I like how they're doing this transition of covers.
Yeah, I think that's the first Big Finish I've got with the new logo. So it's a monumental release.
I'm glad it's not like the pure white one on the spine. I think that one looks quite awkward. I think the version that you're using, you can see it up there on the 8th of March to temporary cover, the standard one. But yeah, it's like that one only. The BBC logo is to the left of Doctor. So I took your recommendations and picked up 42, by the way. Enjoy. That's a very good one. I re-listened to that.
Yeah, absolute banger.
Yeah. But yeah, finally for news, shall we have a quick chat about that third Doctor trailer, if you listen?
Yeah, I have.
Chunky one as well, isn't it? I think 3 minutes.
Yeah, you definitely get a flavour of all 3 stories. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right as trailers go. It got me intrigued. It's interesting that they're still going for. I guess it's more sort of Joe coming back into the world of the Third Doctor rather than the Third Doctor coming back to Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Because it is very much 70s music
Music.
right from the start. It's hitting you over the head with that, even though it's present day Earth where they first meet up.
Yeah, so I was expecting some sort of more sort of Murray Gold sort of esque, sort of like Sarah Jane sort of whimsical music for it. But
Yeah.
no, we're still recreating the era, really.
Yeah. Would have been nice having a bit of a hybrid instead.
I mean, I guess it's still early days yet for it, you know.
Yeah, we don't know quite where it's going to go. Is it Nick Briggs doing the music on this one? I
We
think he
can
did it
have
on
a
the last few, didn't he?
look.
Yeah. Got our production credits down here.
Yes, Nick Briggs.
There we go. So yes, but he likes his 70s music, doesn't he? So he'd probably have leaned into that more. Oh, that Third Doctor cover looks stunning. Says
Yeah,
Southern Island.
It's a lovely
It
one.
really does. Oh. Southern Island also says, been a while since I've joined these streams. Welcome back. Good to have you here.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you here, lurkers, people in the chat. We appreciate you all, people watching on replay. We appreciate you all for taking your time out of your day just to have us waffle on about Big Finish, really.
Yeah, and cheeky little, not quite plug, but request before we dive into the tier list. If you could hit the like button, would be very much appreciated.
Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button. Share it with your friends, do whatever.
And if you're not enjoying the stream, then what are you still doing here? You've obviously got better things to do with your time.
But hey, if we must be all right.
Yeah, hit the like button on your way out anyway, just to be nice.
It costs nothing. Might as well. Yeah,
helps us out.
Helps us out.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I suppose shall we dive into the tier list now?
Yeah, and I guess once we've done the tier list, we'll do a little Q&A after, like we normally do, just to wrap it up.
Yeah, just to round things up.
But yeah.
I mean, one little question here from Hooving with a Small Collection. What did you think of Damaged Goods? Because it was my first story with Chris and Roz, and I loved it. We loved it too.
I think we loved it more on re-listen.
Yeah, it was a good one to come back to, because I think about 10 months ago now, just after Mind of the Hodiak came out, we did like a stream on both of them, because they're like both Russell Davies audios for classic Doctors. And yeah, Damaged Goods comes in high and above Mind of the Hodiak. If you are into your Russell Davies stuff and you want to dive into a Big Finish that's not quite written by him, but based off work written by him, definitely go Damaged Goods. It's the head and shoulders above, and it feels like that middle of the series New Who two-parter, doesn't it? It has that energy about it, that scale. And there's definitely a couple of oh my goodness moments.
Yeah, there's some surprises there.
Yeah, anime. Like we say, we did a stream on that, so if you want to hear our full thoughts on that one, we have a much fresher memory of it, and you are more than welcome to go back and check that out. I mean, it has like a meme thumbnail.
Yeah, it's got Russell.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's. The Russell disapproving and then approving meme.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember what the text was I put for that. But yeah,
it's like Doctor Who meme for thumbnail. Like it.
We have quite a creative thumbnail coming out this month as well, don't we?
Yeah, there's some absolute bangers of thumbnails coming up, but Luke's done. So stay tuned for the tweet for that.
Yeah, very proud of what I put together with that creative one in particular. But we shall see. Yes, the Doctor Who theme for it bops. Yeah, that is a good little theme. I think. Are you less keen on that theme?
It's very similar to the Time War theme.
I suppose we'll have a bit of discourse about that as well, won't we?
Yeah.
As we get through there. I mean, should we do that now? What do you think of the Time War theme?
It's kind of a skip one. Like, like Netflix has skip intro.
Yeah.
I'll skip it.
it goes on a bit, doesn't it?
It's about a minute long, and like
Mm,
I like the Doctor Who theme, but I just want to get to my story.
yeah. I mean, it's sort of a good thing that these are hour-long ones at least, and not half hours, because you have it even more then.
Like I
I,
like what it's going for,
mm,
but it's one of those themes that sort of gets stuck in your head.
but not in a good way.
Hmm.
I think I'm fine with it with the War Doctor.
Yeah,
I think it
McGann's
suits.
where it's like, ooh, bit different, because I think that's when they're trying to like homogenize the Time War stuff as a big thing between like War and Eight. Is there's like one thing.
Yeah, because with the classic Doctor's New Monsters ones with the Eighth Doctor, they use his own theme,
Hmm.
and it still works there. But then suddenly with the ongoing Time War stuff for the Eighth Doctor and Susan's War actually as well, it's just
Hmm.
the standard Time War theme, and it just doesn't suit them, especially with the recent cast set. Like that is quite light-hearted, quite a fun set. I'd say it's got a good amount of energy to it.
I
It would
think
suit the
David Arnold theme,
yeah, so much more.
or
Or
even the Nick
failing,
Briggs one, to be honest.
nah. I think the Nick Briggs one would have worked very well for Susan's War.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think that would have been like. I feel like the Unbound one would work quite well because it's like an alternative First Doctor theme.
Uh,
I think that would work quite well for season 4.
but I mean, or even for Cash, you could have gone for the what's the theme that they used in Night of the Doctor, just extend.
Yeah, that would have been on point because
Uh,
Cass is the first time we have a McGann TV companion.
uh, There, anyway, we shall get to cast that as at the last point of this tier list. Stylish one coming in with I love the Time War theme personally, one of my favourite Doctor Who themes. That use of it in the Time War 1 trailer is brilliant, way better than the David Arnold theme. Oh, that hurts
I love
right
the
through my
David
heart.
Arnold theme.
Oh, it's a brilliant theme, the David Arnold one. Especially when you got the middle eight in there.
Oh, I love a middle eight. Middle eight's great.
The middle eight for eight. What could be more perfect
Yes,
than that?
yes.
Oh, Southern Island is also shocked by Stylish One's hot take. Time or theme over David Arnold. Yeah, we're on your
Yeah,
side here, Southern Island. We much
yeah,
prefer David Arnold.
yeah. But we respect all opinions here. But yeah, David
Yeah,
Arnold film theme supreme.
yeah. I think that's one of the great things about having you around so often, Stylish One, is that you do often counter our points quite a bit.
Mm.
Like, you prove that we can all have very different opinions sometimes, such as the invasion and Evil of the Daleks, for example. Our opinions on those couldn't be more different. But nevertheless, it's great that you know we still enjoy talking to each other here.
Mm.
Uh, what was this? Daniel Hager says, "I hope we get a Unit TV show on Disney Plus next year." I mean, Unit is the spin-off that seems to be the most discussed at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that Russell quote, didn't we, about how it's time to expand the empire or something, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So not confirmation that something's coming, but I think he's got plans. He's got ideas in mind. This is what he wants to do, and it's something he did before anyway. I think he's not
Yes.
just trying to copy the MCU or, do that whole thing. He's doing what he thinks is right for Doctor Who as a brand and as a story. Because he's done it before. He's proven himself with spin-offs, and I think we can get the same. Well, not quite the same but different.
Hmm.
Yeah, a new era of spin-offs, and Unit will probably suit that. We'll see. But only the monstrous. Shall we begin the tier list?
Yes, let's do that. This was such a big release for 2015. This was like a nice sort of Christmas present because it came out December 2015.
Yeah,
And
was it
quite,
announced in October?
yeah, it was literally the week after David Tennant and Catherine Tate were coming back. So this was I still stand by 2015 was one of my favorite years of being a Big Finish fan.
Yeah, it was great stuff that year.
But
Oh, yeah, I
this
suppose
box
this is
set,
when the new series license really exploded, wasn't it?
yeah, because we had the announcement in June,
Mm,
and then of course you had sort of Torchwood in February alongside Unit announced as well, and then you sort of had Jago and Life and Strax in August. So you could see sort of the new series license coming more and more in effect. And I think that for us, we were like, come on, give us the Doctors. And I think the War Doctor was such sort of a left field thing. It was sort of a thing on your wish list, but you never realistically could see it happening because it's John Hurt. Would he really
yeah,
take his time out to do these audios? And you know what? Look at these are sort of set to where hindsight's a wonderful thing, and you appreciate them a lot more now.
yeah. It's like we were so lucky to have as much as we did with John Hurt.
Mm.
Mm. I mean, Only the Monstrous. It's one like it's a new series three-parter, isn't it? Where you've
Yeah,
got part one is sort of off on its own, doing its own thing, but still connects. And then parts two and three are very much where things kick off for real.
yeah,
I quite like the structure Nick Briggs went for with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting because the one way, because I revisited this after Light the Flame because I
Mm,
enjoyed that book set so much, and I went back to Only the
yeah.
Monstrous, and that box set just really hits different. Like the Innocent is such an amazing opener by Nick Briggs. Like it's
Uh,
such a solid 1 hour thing, you know, because it just feels it feels like a nice sort of 1960s Dalek plot with them sort of smashing planets into Gallifrey. Um, yeah,
yeah.
it sort of has sort of the Dark Eyes sort of syndrome in a way with what it does with the companion Lucy Briggs Owens character, what they did with like Molly, bring like an older
Yeah.
version of the character, which all right.
Yeah. Rejoice, wasn't it?
Rejoice,
Yeah, there's a theme with these Time War names, isn't there? Rejoicing to bliss.
bliss, yeah, hope,
And,
offer hope.
uh,
Um, but yeah, I think the thing with these War Doctor, if you want the sort of shady and grey areas of the War Doctor, you're not gonna get it with these four box sets. I think with these four box sets, you're just gonna be enjoying John Hurt
yeah.
as the Doctor. You do get the sort of the war grinding his Doctor to the ground because you just have him ready to set off a time destructor and just end it all.
Yeah. I think it's much more akin to how he's portrayed on TV, really, where it's
Mm,
matching that Day of the Doctor, somewhat fun tone with serious moments sprinkled in.
hmm.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Which, in some ways, you're sort of glad in hindsight, like you say, because we get to just experience John Hurt as the Doctor, really. But at the same time, it's like this War Doctor is meant to be somewhat different. He's meant to be shunned by future incarnations. And so here, you have him saying, "I'm not the Doctor" a lot. That's sort of like their main go-to thing to have, but you never really have it proved that much, if
Yes.
at all, really. And it just sort of gets a bit annoying after a while. It's like, we get it,
Hmm.
you're not the Doctor. Do we have
No,
to have
no,
every
no.
story trying to do that?
It's a Doctor. Don't call me that.
Mm.
Well, it still is Doctor Who.
Mm. Uh, but I'd probably say a good escape from reality.
Yeah, I'd agree there. I don't think it's the best of the War Doctor stuff.
Nah.
I think that comes next.
Ooh,
I love
we shall
Infernal
see.
Devices.
Yeah. But I suppose first I forgot to mention our tier names here.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Take it away.
At the very top, we have Only the Best, of course, referencing Only the Good and Only the Monstrous. Lights Our Flame is second one down. Warms our hearts, doesn't it? These
Yeah,
stories,
yeah.
perhaps. Mm. A good escape from reality, not the best it has to offer, but a good bit of escapism for an hour or so. Only listening to kill time. We're getting into the more negative ones now here. I may have borrowed that pun from a previous War Master tier list. Don't shoot me. But yeah, and then shadow of what it could have been. For the stories that you can tell there's a good idea in there, but it's really not living up to it. And then at the bottom we have time bore for the stories that just really don't do anything for us whatsoever. And the real watch checkers, like, come on, when is this going to finish? And finally, we have blissfully ignorant for the few releases on here that we've maybe not listened to. I know there's at least one that we needed this category for, but I thought I needed to include it in the tier list nevertheless because people would have found it conspicuous by its absence.
Oh, which one's that?
Gallifrey, Time War, War Room, sorry.
Oh,
Allegiance.
okay. I thought you picked that one up.
No, I never did.
I knew you were planning to, but okay.
Yeah, did you get either of the short trips?
I have the short trips.
Have you listened to them?
Yes, I have.
There you go. And I think other than Gallifrey Allegiance, we've covered everything. But yeah, we've got blissfully ignorant there because it was too good a pun to ignore. But anyway, Infernal Devices now. You had a little bit of praise for that one here, and I concur, particularly the first and last story in this box set. This is when we get into the anthology style box sets for the War Doctor, don't we? Whereas Only the Monstrous was one long story. This is 3 separate ones. Although they do have quite a bit of linking material between them, don't they?
Yeah, because I think this one is just finding new weapons to use, and yeah,
but not just that, but narratively as well. One story leads into the next, which is something that I wish they did a bit more of in the newer stuff. Now that I think back on it, that's something that hasn't happened for a good while.
I think that'd be perfect with what they're doing now with like the box sets on Big Finish.
Yeah, like particularly for Forged in Fire, that would have been great for the way that starts, having it be the War Doctor's first 3 adventures experienced fully, rather than just broken up. But yeah, Infernal Devices, I'd probably say Lights Are Flame. Or would you put it Only the Best?
I'd say because it's the only time John Hurt's going to be on top tier.
Okay, I'll allow that.
Because you get because you get the amazing David Warder and John Hurt together, and then the Neverwhen just feels like a perfect Time War story with like the battlefield scene where you get tanks turning into Daleks.
Great reveal. Yeah.
It feels like the army of like Neverwhen, like the King Who Never Was, all that sort of. It fits that sort of Russell poetry of like, I wonder what that is.
Yeah. Quite a tragic one as well, that story. But yeah, A Thing of Guile in the middle, that's the one that didn't really do much for me. But
I like that one because it's kind of comic book Doctor Who. You've got like a big worm chase sequence, and then you've got the scientist Dalek. Yeah, I think it's quite a fun one.
Now we're on to the Sontaran Ordeal, or Classic Doctor's New Monsters Volume 1. It depends how we want to do this. Because obviously you can't pick up Sontaran Ordeal on its own. So this is depending on whether or not we're doing a tier list of stories or a tier list of releases as a whole to recommend people to pick them up or not. Because ultimately the Time War only plays into the final story in this set, the Sontaran Ordeal.
Yeah.
So
it's 1/4 of a box set, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's up to you there. Are we doing this for people to know what to pick up, or are we doing it just for the Time War stories?
I think Time War.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because this is Time War tier list.
Yeah. So the Sontaran Ordeal, pretty good.
Yeah.
Nothing in it. I'd probably say a good escape from reality.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Get a bit of fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only about 50 minutes, that one, I think. So you get some interesting new Who Sontaran mechanics, I suppose, going on.
Yeah.
In that story. Next up, Agents of Chaos. I think this for me is where I started to break a bit with the War Doctor.
I mean, Shadow Vortex, it's nice having sort of the War Doctor on Earth.
Yeah, that's my favourite of the set.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Yeah.
And it introduces the time strategist, doesn't it, this one?
Yeah, it does. Well, I think was teased before this, wasn't he?
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it at the end of Dark Eyes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you sort of have that distinction between the time strategist and the time
Hmm.
controller. But yeah, on the whole, it's Sontarans are back again, and I don't think they're as good here. The Eternity Cage, I was not a fan of that one, and Eye of Harmony, that just very much felt like running around corridors in the TARDIS boredom for an hour,
Is that Invasion of Time just cut down?
pretty much.
I'll be honest, I have no memory of Eye of Harmony. So
My only memory was not enjoying it.
there we go.
I maybe only listening to Kill Time.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, because Shadow Vortex is a good start, but after that, it just doesn't do anything for me. This one, or maybe even Shadow of what it could have been. Up to you. Depends what. Are you
Keep
feeling
it there.
nice?
We'll keep
Yeah.
it there for now.
Okay.
Keep it there.
Casualties of War now. I can't say this one did much for me either.
I think the first story felt. I think you had it with the third box. I think this one sort of broke me. In the sense that the first story sort of has that sort of Time War formula, that there's a planet about to be invaded by Daleks. Doctor must save it. But it's being it seems quite formulaic for a Time War story, which the Time War should be this big, vast, it shouldn't be like zap, zap, bang, bang. It should be this complex conundrum of a thing to do where you can tell all these different stories.
Yeah. I think ultimately there is sort of a problem with telling Time War stories in that, the Time War as a concept should be so confusing that us mere mortals cannot comprehend it in a story.
Mm.
But then you get the other end of the spectrum where you just get stories that are very bland and not even trying. So, yeah, the first story, Pretty Lies, definitely comes under that. And it just sort of feels like filler because you're here for this set for Leela, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you have one episode where you don't even get that. And Lady of Obsidian, okay. Not amazing, but yeah. And then finally the Enigma Dimension, again, didn't do much for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd probably maybe say Shadow of what it could have been for this one, because at least Agents of Chaos had the Shadow Vortex.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm happy with that now because it sort of works out that we have one on top of the other.
Yeah. That's how tier lists work, Luke.
Yeah.
Things are going to be on top of each other.
Well, we could have had both the third and fourth War Doctor set in the same tier, but I don't think they're on the same level.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now, Day of the Vashton Rada, isn't it? The 8th Doctor one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I prefer Sontaran Ordeal.
Yeah, I think that's a much more funner listen.
Yeah, if you're getting these just for the 8th Doctor Time War stories, you're definitely better off with Volume 1. Overall, I'd say Volume 2 is better, but for just these stories, I'd probably say only listening to Kill Time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting having the Narada Vastra. That's an interesting idea.
It's a lot of interesting ideas in this one, but just told rather blandly. Yeah. I suppose take it web to short trips now. It's all on you.
Yeah. Oh, the short trips. They're great little bite-sized chunks of Doctor Who, but I think with a story like because both of these two short trips sort of spiral into bigger things, like All Hands on Deck spirals into Susan's War, I think it is.
Yeah, it does. It's sort of like the little backdoor pilot for it, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
both
it's
it and the first story of Susan's War are by Eddie Robson.
yeah,
Mm.
and then A Heart on Both Sides you finally see come to fruition in Killing Time.
Mm.
It almost feels a bit of a shame not to have them full cast.
Yeah, it does seem an odd choice in hindsight. But I
Um,
suppose this was sort of around the time where Paul McGann wasn't quite as available.
yeah, maybe.
Mm.
But I guess
Yeah.
it's one of those things where they're like, right, how can we slap a new series on? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so the Nyssa one is basically the Eighth Doctor's on a leper ship with Nyssa, and I think they're fleeing one of the wars. I can't remember much about it because it's been about 6 years now since I listened to it, which is crazy to think. But I remember thinking I'd put it there. I'd put it above. It's a good solid. I think out of the two short trips, it's a better one. I think the Susan one, it continues building off the Dalek Invasion of Earth thing, what they did with an Earthly Child.
Yeah.
But I think all you need to know is that Susan's called up to join the Time War, and I think that's where the story gets the most interesting at the end.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've listened to Susan's War without this and didn't feel lost at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all they're just bonus little listens, really, aren't they? They're ancillary stuff.
Yeah, it's just more character pieces for them, really.
Yeah. But yeah, it does feel odd given where things went that these weren't full cast. Like,
Especially when you have boxes like 10th Doctor Classic Companions, you're like, come on.
yeah, Eighth Doctor's dying for this. I mean, I'd take a story with Susan and a story with Nyssa over stories with Bliss. But speaking of Bliss, we have Time War 1 here. Not too big a fan of.
The first two stories are where it's at its strongest.
I quite like the third one, the Conscript.
I don't like that one.
I've seen a lot of hate for that one. I remember enjoying it.
It's
But
got
it has
some of
been
the worst
7
cover
years.
art.
Not 7 years, 5 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, that final cover. That's a painful cover.
Yeah, you can tell it's like a behind the scenes photo and like, right, let's just put a jazzy background behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's painful.
I like Dalek Dal.
Oh, is that in Echoes of War?
War, yeah. I think that's a nice idea. There's constantly planet that's being ravaged by the war and then it will go back. That's quite cool.
That's kind of interesting. But yeah. On the whole, I'd probably say only listening to Kill Time. Yeah. That's also a weird one in that it is one long story in a way. But at the same time broken up more individually, whereas later Time War stuff would sort of drop that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be dropped in the next set even with Time War 2. But first, only the good. We're into some War Master stuff now, and this is where it gets good, isn't it?
The War Master's where you get the best Time War because it's evil fighting evil, and I feel like I know where this is going to go.
Yeah, only the best.
Only the best.
Only the best is only the good enough.
It really, like, if this was the only Derek Jacobi box that we had, I'd be satisfied.
Yeah, same. Treats them very well. You've got that great opener with Beneath the Viscoid by Nicholas Briggs, which is sort of like an anti-Doctor Who story, isn't it?
Yeah, but you have the Master being the Doctor, and then you have the moment at the end where you're like, oh, that's why he's the Master, and it's great.
It's the thing with how great Derek Jacobi is in this role. He makes you love him.
He's
he
a
makes
lovable
you want
granddad.
him to be good. Yeah. But then he does something utterly despicable, and you're like, oh, why did you have to do that? But at the same time, it's kind
Oh,
of fun seeing you do
Grandad.
that.
Go on, Grandad. Kill him. Kill him.
Yeah, it depends on the character. Sometimes you're like, yes,
It really
killing
leans into the
do
sweet
it.
old man. Yeah, I am
Yeah.
the Senate.
And I mean, he's always good for the monologue as well.
Oh yeah, it's lyrical. Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, this set perfectly captures who the War Master is, really.
Yeah,
It does some
highly
great stuff
recommend.
with him. Yeah. And I mean, with the War Master stuff, all the sets stand alone, really. So you could dive in any order, because this set actually happens at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's the end of his life.
yeah.
But yeah.
I'd say really good set overall. You've got the beautiful Skyman or
Yeah.
Skymen.
I quite like the Good Doctor as well. It's one that's not spoken about too much, but I think that's a real interesting story.
Which is a nice sort of follow on from the Gallifrey story he features in, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is coming up in just a second. That actually takes place in between the first and second story of this set.
Yeah.
And that teams up the War Master and Leela. It's probably the highlight of that set as well.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
Yeah. In fact, that's what inspired me to go back and get the War Master stuff, really, was how much I enjoyed Derek Jacobi in.
Was that your first Jacobi then?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
Time War, Gallifrey Time War 1. I then decided to go back and nab the Derek Jacobi one. But yeah, I think what's also great is that it doesn't throw the War Master into the heart of the Time War. It keeps him away from the weird Gallifrey side of thing that I think they've been leaning into a lot with the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah.
Which just, it sort of feels weird being in almost the heart of the Time War. It works for Gallifrey as a series because, I mean, it can't really not do that. But yeah, it doesn't really work for me with the Eighth Doctor a lot of the time, because he's meant to be, on the edges of the war, avoiding it, and yet he just seems to spend Time War 1 to 4 just basically doing the same thing the War Doctor ends up doing. Like, it doesn't really feel like there's any distinction there. And it's what I do like about Cass, is that finally it feels like we're getting the Eighth Doctor avoiding the war again.
Yeah.
He's doing what he says in Night of the Doctor. He's helping where he can, but he will not fight. Whereas, with Time War 1 to 4, there's not really any distinction between how the Eighth Doctor operates and how the War Doctor operates for me.
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's a Lister and the lead.
Yeah, he's sort of palling around with the general a bit at times as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's odd. But, and I mean, it is also just odd the way Big Finish have handled the Time War as a whole. Because it's all broken off into its own little segments with very few crossovers, but at the same time, it feels like there's so many natural points for crossover.
Yeah, because this is the thing. You get it with the War Master and Gallifrey Time War, where you have that sort of tapestry that David Richardson was saying, that once we've done the Time War, you can see this vast sort of tableau, as it were, of the Time War.
But yeah, I'm not really seeing it. Like, they brought Alex back with the Eighth Doctor. You've had the Eighth Doctor in Susan's War. Susan is very much still grieving for Alex, being his mother, of course, and yet they haven't seemed to connect those two yet. Maybe they will in the future, but it just seems so odd at the moment for that not to be something they've considered.
Yeah, can you feel like Susan's like a natural thing to join into the Eighth Doctor Time War thing? If Susan, I can't see Susan's War getting a second box set, so I feel like that's the logical step for her to jump into the Eighth Doctor stuff.
Yeah, but it was 2020, wasn't it? April 2020.
Yeah, it was one of the first releases to be released in lockdown. Hence why it was one of the biggest sellers of that year.
Yeah. Yeah, you do just think, why isn't there more connections like that when you have obvious places to connect them. Like the Doctor is hanging around Gallifrey so much for whatever reason. Why not have him meet Leela or Romana? You know, if you have this grand plan, why does it feel so separate? And I think the other problem seems to be that, you know, they're never going to be done with the Time War. They're
Mhm.
always going to be telling more stories. And so you can't have necessarily a
A
grand
finite
plan there.
end.
Yeah. And I think they're also sort of stuck for the most part in the early parts of the war.
Yeah, with Jacqueline Pierce now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they've also sort of been sadly run into a corner there with her passing. But that's, you know, that's just unfortunate. Really, that's nothing that's could be done about it. Yeah. And I mean, she didn't appear in Gallifrey Time War, despite that seeming obvious. Although now you get her in Allegiance, but it's an earlier incarnation.
Yeah, I think it's Caroline Pickles, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the War Master, I think, is probably comes off the best out of the Time War, mainly because he is off on his own so much for the most part.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gallifrey Time War now, the first volume. Yeah. And I think this is sort of like where Time War starts as well, isn't it?
It's literally the declaration of war, isn't it, in the first story?
Yeah. But then it feels like it burns through everything very quickly.
This is the thing what rubs me up the wrong way with this box set is that you have the declaration of war, yet you have Time Lords already resurrecting the dead. I'm like, surely that would be done out of desperation.
Yeah, I think that should take a little bit longer to get around to.
Yeah, and I think it for me it didn't match what RTD set up the Time War to be. Like, you can imagine the final days of the war where it's like any means possible to get the soldiers out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's great when in the End of Time, the way it's described, the way the heart of the Time War is referenced, and then being on the edge of it there. And I think that could have worked for Gallifrey and the politics, but it never quite lives up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also weird in hindsight the way they handled, you know, writing out Ace, writing out Leela, and that it felt like, you know, this was going to be a finite
No one's
series,
safe.
but then
Yeah.
but then it's extended anyway with War Room. So why couldn't we have got more with Ace in the Time War? Why could we only get this one story and then she's written out very quickly? And they're not committing to killing anyone off either.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's still fine at the end of this, just separate or out of things for different reasons. But I mean, it's got a great story with the War Master though. Soldier Obscura, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Ace one.
What's the War Master one called?
Have I got it wrong?
No, I think you got it right. That is the Ace one.
Let's have a look.
It's on sale at the moment for $16.49 on download and $17.49 on CD.
So
after our glowing review,
if you want it, go and get it.
The devil you know, of course.
There we go.
This is a very good one. I mean, especially with Romana and Narvin in this one, the way that plays off in the end. That's great.
The Emperor Dalek's great.
Yeah, it's a wonderful little inclusion.
Like, I like the Ace story up until the way Ace is written out of it.
Yeah, which is only towards the end, really. I'd say overall it's not too bad a box set. It just makes some odd decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably maybe a good escape from reality or only listening to kill time.
I'd go killing time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have Time War 2, the 8th Doctor. It's going to get a bit confusing here, isn't it? We go from Gallifrey Time War to 8th Doctor Time War.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they've all got individual titles now. But I don't know about this one.
I think I like this one more than you.
I think so.
Because I'm just going to say one thing. I think you know what I'm going to say.
Ogron Doctor.
Yeah. Like, that's
That
got
is
to
my
give it merit.
Planet of the Ogrons is brilliant.
Anyone for
That is-
Satsuma?
That is a wonderful story. Yeah. Wonderful Ogron Doctor played by John Coleshaw.
We need more Ogron Doctor. Like, I would happily buy a spin off of Ogron Doctor.
Yeah. Bliss is likable in this one as well.
I'm sensing a theme, Luke.
Yeah. But the first story absolutely bored me.
That it's kind of playing off the morals of Genesis of the Daleks, isn't it?
A little bit. It just feels like such an obvious twist what it ends up going for. Planet of the Ogrons was the second story. That's a good one. That's good. That's great.
That's my favourite.
In the Garden of Death, didn't do anything for me really.
I think that one feels a bit too long.
Yeah, I think that's where that struggles.
And then
Yeah.
Jonah, I quite like. Quite enjoy that one.
I didn't mind it too much, but yeah, it didn't really grab me in the same way Planet of the Ogrons did. I also find it funny looking. I've just gone onto the product page to remember the individual titles, and at the bottom it says a special run of prequels to the War Doctor. It's not really. It doesn't connect in any way.
Well, the Eighth Doctor box set, Time War box set 1, was meant to be just the one box set, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the idea was it'd be a special prequel box set to the War Doctor stuff. But problem is there's not really any interconnected plot things with the War Doctor, and so there isn't really anything for Time War to tie in with, other than the fact that it's the Doctor during the Time War.
Yeah, and plus it's an old John Hurt, it's not a young John Hurt, so the plot threads aren't gonna link.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of life between these two. Where would you want to put Time War 2 then?
I would say a good escape from reality. He's thinking.
Where would I'd definitely put it lower than that, but I don't know if I'd put it quite far down as Shadow of what could have been.
Kill Time?
Yeah, probably. But if you want to put it in Good Escape from Reality, I won't stop you.
I'll put it there then. I'll put it there.
We've not got anything in Lights Off Flame yet. It's either been really good stuff or just okay stuff at the moment.
I feel like that's coming. I think I'm looking at this list. I'm going, there are some real heavy hitters coming up soon.
Yeah. I mean, the War Master, Master of Callus. Now, this is a very different set, isn't it? Because it's one long story. But it's got a weird episode 3.
Brummy Jacoby.
A weird episode 3 that's quite good on its own.
But you don't need.
Yeah, you can listen to this box set without episode 3. In fact, I did do a re-listen of it and just skipped episode 3 and it flowed very well. I think the problem is it just throws off the pacing of the story overall. Yeah, it's like a good little bonus. I see what they're going for with it. But yeah, you sort of think, oh, wow, episode 2's left off on a huge note and we've got a whole other half of this story to go. But you don't really. You're at the end of the second act, not halfway through it like you think you are. And maybe I do just say this is only the best or Lights Off Flame because I do think episode 3 is very strong as it is, and the overall box set is very strong. But the way they merge together is a bit awkward.
I say Lights Off Flame.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
It's nice having the Ood.
Oh, quick dip into the chat here. Daniel Hager, the Second Doctor San, says, I got the Ninth Doctor Adventures Old Friends, and I'm loving it. That is a brilliant box set.
Yeah, really good. One of my favourites of last year.
Yeah. Stylish One also said, this conversation between Ben and Luke about interconnectivity reminds me of why I love late 2000s to early 2010s Big Finish. So much arcs would intersect and cross over. Yeah, but you did have quite a bit of that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't Forge tie into quite a few different ones?
Forge was a big thing. that started, gosh, very early on and didn't really conclude until 2010.
Nah.
It's amazing how intricate old Big Finish is.
Mm.
But it's not for like the detriment where if you haven't heard some of these stories, you won't enjoy.
Yeah.
They're nice little things to go, oh, okay, that's part of that, And I do think, it was a great time for Big Finish.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like Time War, the Time War as a whole could have benefited from that style of thought being put behind it. Yeah, because as it is, it very much more feels like just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But anyway, Gallifrey Time War 2. I think you never got this one, did you? You sort of
No,
moved away from Gallifrey after Time War 1.
yeah.
This is our only box set with Terence Hardiman as the Rassilon, president of Gallifrey. Which it's an interesting set because it is much more like one long story again. And yeah, certainly something very different for Gallifrey. But overall memories of it are more just, I'd say, a good escape from reality. It's nothing too amazing at the end of the day, but nothing too bad either. Yeah.
Doesn't it have like the same cliffhanger as like the first box set?
Not quite. As a similar, I mean, it's not really a spoiler to say at this point because we've had a second or whatever, however many Rassilons show up in later Time War stuff. But yeah, the Rassilon does regenerate at the end, but you don't find out who into until Time War 4. But that's another thing. It's odd that Rassilon's never really turned up in anything beyond Gallifrey. I think a quick cameo somewhere else would have benefited another range. But yeah. Terence Hardiman is a great Rassilon. That was the main takeaway from this set. Yeah. But I mean, more of the cliffhanger is Leela and Narvin being exiled.
Okay.
And I can say that because that's very much the premise for
Box
Time
set
War
3.
3. That is where that one begins. It's hard to talk in spoilers in some ways because a lot of it is obvious from where the next box set goes. But yeah, Rage of the Time Lords.
Weakest War Master set?
I don't know. I would have said that a couple of months ago, but since Self-Defense and Escape from Reality, I'm not so sure now.
Oh, point. Because I really enjoyed the McGann stuff.
I enjoyed some of it. I don't know. I think the first story of this set is way too long.
I get that with the second one with like the Coney Island chameleon.
Yeah. That one I didn't mind too much. But I know I'm in the minority with that one. I think a lot of people say that's their least favorite.
We've not got River here, actually.
No, we haven't. But that does tie into this one. Yeah. I suppose that sort of comes down to, what do you class as Time War as well? Because that's not necessarily River in the Time War. That's all just it slightly intersecting with her. I mean, technically, same with Master of Callus. That's pre-Time War.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got what we call the War Master in it, so... and it is very much on the build-up to it as well. And I think also the thing with Rage of the Time Lords is you're always going to have that feeling of what we're missing out on, what could have been with a Witchfinder style story. For those who don't know, that was something that was originally planned for the third box set, where they were going to have like Derek Jacobi as the Witchfinder General, and I think Paul McGann as the Astronomer Royal, weren't they? They were going to go for that style story where it's one long story across the 4 episodes of the box set, set back in those medieval times, but that didn't end up coming around. And so instead it was like, well, because the Witchfinders on TV, they had to abandon that idea because it was too similar. They were told, no, you can't do that. It'd be nice if they go back to it.
Yes, I
I
think that'd
hope
be nice.
I hope they do it at some point. It doesn't look like they will, based on the titles we got for upcoming stuff. But that would be nice to return to that idea. But I mean, some of it was recycled into the sets. Maybe that's why.
Mm.
But I mean, one long story by Tim Foley that'd do me with the War Master
Yeah,
as the Witchfinder General. But nevertheless, what we got here, probably say only listening to kill time.
yeah, I'd agree. Because it does have moments where it's good. Actually, that looks about right. Actually,
Yeah, I'd probably put them on a similar level. Ooh, Time War 4 now. They're
Time
free,
War
sorry.
3. I really like this one. Again, I think I prefer this more than you.
Yeah, I think you do. I think. Which one's the? I mean, State of Bliss did nothing for me.
That's meant to be like a character. I think that's my least favorite of the set.
Yeah, it's like trying to catch up with Bliss because they hadn't quite done enough character work for her before this.
But
But
it feels
just
too
feels
little,
like
too late.
Yeah, it's like, we're 2 box sets in now. We've already made up our minds. Yeah. The Famished Lands,
I love it.
I'm not a big fan. I just remember those weird big skeleton things.
I think that's why I like it, because it sort of has that sort of early Big Finish feel. And just having McGann going, dance, monkey, dance, and just like tripping is great. And I think the idea about how like the outer worlds are being affected by the Time War, it shows like the little man being cut off in the war.
It's an interesting concept, but I think not well realised. Fugitive in Time sort of did something for me for a bit, but overall wasn't a huge fan. And then the War Valiard, it's sort of a weird one. I think it's improved by what comes afterwards because this one very much leads into Time War 4, doesn't it?
Especially that cliffhanger.
Yeah. It's quite a tragic story. It does things a bit differently to what you might expect for the Valiard during the Time War. But I mean, overall, I'd probably put this one in only listening to kill time as well.
Oh, I would go A Good Escape from Reality because I think it's a step up from Time War 2.
I'll let you have that.
Thank you.
Anti-Genesis now.
Banger.
This is one where you've got a lot of iconic imagery being twisted slightly, don't you? It feels like a love letter to season 14 to me.
But it replays scenes of Genesis that you know, but not quite the same, and it works brilliantly.
It makes me wonder if this would have been done differently now that we've had Fourth Doctor, Sarah and Harry recast.
Because you literally get them dead in instant, don't you?
Yeah, it's wonderful how that's worked into this. And it's a wonderful comment about nostalgia there during that moment as well. About him reminiscing about the Pertwee Doctor.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And just War Master and Davros is beautiful.
Yeah, I love the sort of hacking of history throughout this one. But I think when it gets to the end, it sort of falters a bit in the final episode. And you also got a weird subplot with another time lady that comes to nothing.
But I think that really explores how dangerous Skaro is, like the barbed wire killing her. Spoiler, but yeah, it's really good stuff. And then you have Sam Kisgard appear, which I think this is when you really start to explore what the Time War can be on audio.
Yeah, it's great how that's treated, how universe shattering this story is. Yeah, I'd say that only the best or lights our flame?
I think it's got to be boom up there.
There we go. Ooh, that's going well then.
Yeah, War Master. You can see we're doing all right.
Mm.
Doing all right.
Gallifrey Time War 3 now. This is where things picked up a little bit for me with Gallifrey.
That's good.
I think. Yeah. I think there's a wonderful little story in the second one, Nevermore, by Lou Morgan, which is this wonderful little rural setting where things aren't quite right, like time's gone awry, and there are creatures out there hunting Narvin and Romana, and it's a great, like, almost twisted Doctor Who story, really, with those two at the heart of it. And then we also get Leela back in some great stuff as well. And finally, it's sort of a Western finale with a showdown between Romana and the Daleks. I'd probably say a good escape from reality.
Is it the best of the Gallifrey Time War stuff?
Probably,
Okay.
from what I've heard. But yeah. Susan's War now.
Nice little curio.
Yeah, this is the only one that's like a standalone.
Yeah.
The rest are 4 box set or beyond at this point.
I think it's worth it just for the Ian story, to be honest.
Oh, that's wonderful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like that in the sense right, outsmarting Daleks.
It's funny how this turns out not to be his last performance in the role, William Russell's.
Yeah, we thought it was.
Yeah. When this was recorded back in 2018. That one. But I mean, Sphere of Influence, that's great. Just with Ian, it's just wonderful hearing those two back together, going back to the Sense Sphere, reliving old times. And then
It's a political thriller, isn't it? That?
Yeah, that's sort of what they were trying to do with the Susan stuff, isn't it? They were trying to have it be like the a spy, really, weren't they? You know, because she's not going to be out there full on fighting, but she's not going to be an agent.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Die, Dalek scum.
The Uncertain Shore wasn't too bad.
It's got like the Ogron invasion, which is fun.
Yeah, or Robogron, isn't it?
Robogron, and you go to Florana, isn't it?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's quite nice at first, with like the hunt for the spy, but then it sort of goes a bit weird when the invasion happens for me. I think there's a story of 2 halves. You have a wonderful first half and then a bit of a messy second. Assets of War.
I don't
probably
like
the lowest point of the box set.
Yeah.
And Shortest Intervention is a nice little play on Remembrance of the Daleks, isn't it? We're back in that world.
Yeah.
For a brief stint. Probably either Lights Our Flame or A Good Escape from Reality.
I'd go Escape from Reality, I think.
Yeah. I think that's a fair placement. Time War 4 now. I think another one where you're more fond of it than me.
I mean, this definitely lights my flame, like Palindrome. Come on. It's a banger.
I like it. It's pretty good.
It's so good.
I don't know. I'm just not sure I feel the it's so good thing. I just think it's more than fine. But
it's mighty fine, Luke.
It's not a 10 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 at best.
It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
I much prefer Paradox of the Daleks.
But that's not here, Luke.
No.
And then you get the Dread Shade, which is great fun. Nice sort of
little story.
And then Restoration of the Daleks, everything sort of comes to a head, really.
Yeah. It sort of Dreadshade at least started setting up something with Bliss, where, you know, she and what's that Time Lord's name? Rasmus could like work together a bit. As sort of like a bit of a duo of her feeding him information behind the Doctor's back almost. And it just feels like, you know, couldn't we have had something like that introduced much earlier on? why did we have to wait this long for that? And then obviously that's gone nowhere now with Reki Thakra leaving the role, at least being unavailable to record in the role. But yeah, and then the final episode didn't do much for me.
Well, I liked it.
It just feels like too bombastic for the sake of it. I'll let you go Lights Are Flame.
Good. It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, now we have Shadow of the Daleks one. I've got to remind myself of which ones are in this one.
This has got the best story in it.
The bookshop at the end of
yeah.
the world, isn't there? That's
Yeah.
a wonderful little one. It deserves to be top tier just for that story. But let's see what other ones are in there. It's funny
Aim at
with
the
these
body.
half-hour ones, isn't it? That you have, you can have somewhat mess stories, but you don't mind because they're over quickly enough to be not to feel like you've had too much of your time wasted, mostly. Except the Dancing Plague from Time Apart.
Oh,
No.
that's a long one.
How was that only 22 minutes?
It felt like an hour.
But yeah, Aimed at the Body, not too bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
Light Speed, fun enough. Bookshop at the End of the World, superb.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That's a real good story.
And then Interlude, not too bad either. I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that as well that they are standalone episodes, but also they feed into this overall arc. So a lot of them have things left hanging by design. Should we say Lights Are Flame for?
Yeah, I think because of the third story. I think Interlude's got a nice idea, but I think it could have had a massive revelation that it's actually the Dalek council room. That'd have been really cool.
And now we come to what I think would be my personal favourite War Master.
Okay.
But it's one of those cases where I can acknowledge only the good is better. But I just get a real kick out of Hearts of Darkness.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think you probably like it more than me. I think it's a better one for McGann.
Yeah. It's a step up from Rage of the Time Lords by far. It uses McGann much better.
It uses Time Lord sort of mythos very well. I like the whole world towards the latter end of the story.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
There's a nice twist in the story, which I think the cover kind of hints at.
It allows some great performances, particularly from McGann.
Yeah. But it does one character dirty.
Yeah, one character does get done dirty by the end of this. And I think it does almost feel like part of the problem with how the different writers, it's two different writers for this one, David Llewellyn and Lisa McMullen. And it feels like they've both got different ideas in their heads of these characters. And so it's a shame how it plays out in the end. I'd say part 4 is probably my least favorite part of this, even though it's got some great stuff there.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'd probably say Lights Are Flame.
I'll give it you.
There we go. And now back to Shadow of the Daleks again. With Shadow of the Daleks 2 now. This one has Echo Chamber, which is a little podcast with the Fifth Doctor.
I love that one.
It's a good experimental one, isn't it?
It reminds me of an early Big Finish.
Yeah. Playing around with what you could do with audio and this time war setting with the Fifth Doctor in it.
It's a good one.
Towards Zero, I didn't mind. I thought that was quite
I can't remember.
one.
Which one's that one?
That's the murder mystery one in the old country house.
Oh, okay.
But like the dead bodies keep coming back to life.
Oh, right, okay.
Or people keep forgetting that people have been murdered and such. But, that's all when more of the mystery starts coming into play. Then Castle Hydra. No, did nothing for me.
It's a bit of a weird one, that.
Yeah. And then finally you have Effect and Cause, which is where everything's revealed what happened, and it's just a bit. Here's what happened. There you go. These are your answers. And it's not much of an enjoyable story in itself.
See you next month for Grey Man on the Mountain or whatever it was next.
Yeah. I think it was Grey Man on the Mountain next, wasn't it? Or
Flight of the
that was in the
Pimpernel.
next month, but technically Flight of the Pimpernel was the next one along. The Hearts of Darkness gave us the extended War Master theme. Need I say more? I could, but I don't want to spoil this box set. Oh yeah, that was wonderful. At the end is Jacoby
Middle
laughs, and then we get the middle eight.
We love a middle eight here. We've established,
and we love the War Master theme as well. That's brilliant.
I think that's probably my favorite, like, original theme.
Possibly, it's one of the strongest from the from Big Finish. But yeah, hearing that, I remember the first time just going, like, rewinding it a bit so I could listen to the ending again.
It's like middle eight time.
It hits so hard. Yeah. But Shadow of the Daleks 2 doesn't hit quite as hard.
Say Killing Time?
Killing Time. I think especially because it drags the whole of Shadow of the Daleks down with the final episode. Just how that plays out. But then Gallifrey Time War 4 now. What was the conclusion to the Time War saga for Gallifrey until they decided to extend it? Because of course they did. This one is not too bad. I'm trying to remember what the episodes were here. You get the Ravenous back in this one.
Yeah. That's in, you have, like, is it Brax having, like, visions of, like, marrying Romana and stuff like that?
I can't quite remember. I know it's a weird episode there. I love the structure of this one. How you have a story for Leela, a story for Narvin, and then a story for Romana, and then finally those all come together for the final episode. It's like you got these 3 separate plots, each started up, and then they all converge into one in the finale, which is action-packed, standard Big Finish finale fare, really. But some interesting stuff going on in those early ones, though. Overall, I'd probably say it's a good escape from reality. And now we come to Jonathan Carley taking on the role of the younger War Doctor here.
I think we can brush through this one quickly because I think we've done this one a lot.
Yeah, we did do a not a tier list, but we did do a video on this one last year, didn't we? But yeah, Jonathan Carley, great as the younger War Doctor.
Amazing.
They've sort of compared his casting to, like, Ewan McGregor as a younger Obi-Wan, haven't they?
Yeah. I can see it.
It has that kind of energy to it. So yeah, love that. The first episode, pretty good.
I think it's a solid one. It's a solid start.
Lionhearts is where this set loses me.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that one. But then, is it the Shadow Squad?
Yeah.
That's a banger. That's a
great concept.
Idea. Yeah. Quite well done. Probably good escape from reality again.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. The War Master Killing Time now.
Oh, that's such a good box set.
This is an amazing one, isn't it? You get a wonderful costume for Jacoby on the cover as well.
It suits him very well.
If you like trauma, you will like this box set.
It will give you trauma if you don't have trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the War Master playing the long game as he's sent on a mission to this planet to sort of undo a sort of curse because these people can't reproduce, can they?
They become immortal, but at the price of not being able to have children now. And so you've got some interesting characters who are, like, very old, like on the verge of death, and are now just stuck like old and crippled and unable to die.
Hmm.
Or I think, well, not unable to die actually. I think they can die, can't they? But
Yeah.
just only not from natural causes. Like these people live forever, and so it's created a society that's in a state of decay. Really,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's even in the name of it, isn't it? The stagnant protocol. That's it. You know,
Yes.
they are a
Yeah.
stagnant people. They cannot develop and go anywhere. There's no reason for them to push further. It's an interesting society. It's great exploring that world, but that's not what the whole box set is about. Because you know, you have that in part 1 and part 4 as the War Master has a new nemesis, doesn't he? In Calantha, they spar against each other wonderfully. And it's nice having someone who isn't the Doctor for the Master to play off of, and someone who's much more on his level of nefariousness.
And beats him
Yeah,
for a little while.
but you know, he's a bitter loser, isn't he?
Yes. He
Yeah,
comes
he'll
back with
always-
vengeance.
Yeah, that's a wonderful dynamic. It calls back to that line in Terror of the Autons, doesn't it? Of I have so few worthy opponents. When they're gone, I always miss them. And so this is sort of showing one of those rare times when someone who wasn't the Doctor came along and was a worthy opponent for the War Master. And he's almost loving it at the same time as hating her.
Yeah, he's up for the challenge. He's up for that sort of political thing because there's a lot of intimate scenes between Calantha and the War Master just having a meal together.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's
great
so
stuff.
rich.
A lot of stuff left in what's left unsaid.
And that's without going into the Joe and Nissa stories.
Yeah, wonderful, much more character pieces, aren't they? Much more focused.
Yes.
And yeah, the Joe one in particular, get ready for the trauma.
The Joe one, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It's an audio that wrestles with you. And I like that.
Same here. And then Alyssa one as well. Again, it really gets to dive into Nissa's trauma from the Master and her losing her father.
But the reveal, the realization that that's, you know, the Master is brilliant.
Yeah. It's just wonderful how sadistic the War Master is. And I think this set is him is most sadistic.
Oh, because you have him sort of hinting at a family that, oh, this is my family. Do you have a family, Nissa? And it's great stuff like that. Like he's prodding.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah,
and a lot of it he doesn't have to do to get what he wants. He's just doing it to have fun. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's sort of like a spiritual predecessor to what we're going to get with Missy and young Amelia.
Yes, yeah, I guess so.
Similar vein of story, isn't it? But yeah, this set, I'd say only the best.
I agree.
Yeah, so.
I think third favorite. Let's literally my top 3 War Master. That is.
Yeah, and we've got 3 War Master in the top tier.
You know, it's some good shiz. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, the only thing that isn't War Master in that top tier is only there on the default that
it's John
deserves to be there.
Yeah, but I feel like there's another release I'm going to campaign to be up there.
We shall see. But next up, Warbringer. This is where we get a 3-part War Doctor story again. And this is where the Time War excels much more, I feel, in the long form stories.
Yes.
And it's an interesting one, this, how it plays out with it being a 2-parter followed by 1 part that's set before the 2-parter and leads into that. It's not as timey-wimey as you'd think it is from how they describe it. It is literally just, you know, catching a character up on what they missed from the first 2 parts. But yeah, and I mean, said character Case, we're going to get to catch up with again because she's coming back for the next War Doctor.
In May.
So it's nice to see that carried forward at last because it sort of feels like there was set up here that then looked like it was going nowhere at first. But yeah, that should be interesting. She's a great little character played by Jazz Howard.
Yeah.
And you also get Angela Bruce in this one as well, sort of doing an American accent for a bit. Like a
She
weird-
didn't last long,
No.
safe to say.
Yeah, it's sort of weird how much they promoted the fact that she was included in this, but quite a relatively small role.
Mm.
But nevertheless, I love the concept of this planet that just worships war.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. But I think the highlight is probably the last episode, where it sort of
Yeah,
feels
so-
like a callback to 60s, who in a lot of ways with the running down corridors, but done in an entertaining fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lights off lane?
Yeah, like stuff lame.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and back once again with the young War Doctor. He's
Back
got
once
two in a
again,
row.
the young one.
I mean, this is one you've not listened to, is it? Or did you ever go back to much of it?
I've not gone back to it. I probably will go back to it come sort of May when we get the next one. But yeah.
There you go. But this one I have listened to. You've got The Keeper of Light, which is a story that I think could have probably been expanded upon much more. I think it's making a nice little point, but at the same time, I think there's a lot more that could have been done with said point. It's nice having the War Doctor in a typical Doctor Who story for a little bit.
And it's got the person who plays Cass, isn't it? Emma Campbell
Yeah.
Jones, is it?
Emma Campbell Jones, yeah. Back before she came along as Cass. I think here she plays Layla. Yeah, Layla Bridge. But yeah, I don't know about this first episode because I did enjoy what it was. It's unfortunate. The twist was obvious, to be honest, and it sort of feels like it goes on a bit at the end with that. But yeah, Temesis. It's nice how the Daleks are treated in this, and I think you get more of that when you come along to He Who Fights with Monsters. But yeah, overall, it was the one I was most excited for in this set, but didn't do as much for me as I hoped it would. And then finally, Rewind, which I'd sort of lost interest in this for a while before I finally went back to this one and was pleasantly surprised. Rewind is the highlight of the set for me. A great little War Doctor story and wonderfully tragic as well in what it presents. Because you've got this planet that is constantly reliving its last day as the Daleks invade, and then at a specific point, time is reset. And so these people are forced to remember everything, remember dying, and then die all over again. And yeah, that's tragic stuff, and it's very well presented through this story. So yeah, I'd probably give this one a good escape from reality overall.
Okay.
I think I probably prefer it to the first War Doctor Begins set. But yeah, but it's not as good as Warbringer. But definitely not. Self-defense now.
It needs defense.
Who's going to defend it? It's not going to be either of us.
No.
It's a shame. This is sort of where the War Master seems to be losing itself a bit because we're now drifting away from the 2-writer format. We've got 4 writers now for this set, but they're still wanting to do a bit of an arc. And it's also where it seems to get overly long, but for no real reason. It's never doing much for that runtime.
Yeah.
I mean, David Tennant and Derek Jacobi, it's as great as you expect them to be together.
It's the highlight of the box set, thankfully.
Yeah.
That's the reason you're there for.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know how much that story works. It just feels too predictable with the way it goes. David Tennant's doing great in it. Derek Jacobi's always brilliant. And it's at its best when it is just scenes of them sat down talking, really.
Yeah.
When the plot's going, that's when you start to get bored. But I mean, other stories in this set, you have like this weird the players, the weird ones set on a colony world, which is very much just on its own.
I don't like that. Again, I think that one's just a bit of a slog to get through. I think the first story, it really comes into play in the last 20 minutes when you get the classic, change of pace and tone of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, the first story is quite interesting. Forest of Penitence. Then Boundaries. It just feels like the middle of this box set is very much artificially extended.
It's a box set based around we've got David Tennant. Let's kind of get something going around it.
Yeah, how do we get to this point? Well, really, you could have just had it be an anthology set, and I don't think anyone would have minded.
Because the title in itself is clever.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice little surprise with what the box set was trying to do.
But yeah, I do also wonder where it's set for the War Master, because obviously it's while he's still with Cole, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't really have many hints of that in Only the Good, that he's gone off world during that story.
I think it's while he's grown his vineyard, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's just a bit awkward the way it ends. But I think because you can very much tell that the last story was written when they didn't know they were going to do that Cole story yet. So that's probably why it doesn't line up. But yeah, I'd probably say Only Listening to Kill Time.
I'd probably go one lower.
Really? Shadow Boy could have been.
I think there's a lot of potential with the box set. But I just don't think it fully realizes it.
If you want to, I'd say go for it.
I feel bad because David Tennant and Jacoby.
Yeah, I felt okay. I'd say Only Listening to Kill Time. Like looking in that tier, there's stuff in there. I would take this over. Now we come to the one where you haven't listened to. So it's
Banger.
Blissfully Ignorant. It might be. It could very well be.
Yeah.
I did listen to like the free 15-minute preview and it did nothing for me. It just felt like business as usual for Time War. So it was like, yeah, I'm going to take this point to hop off. Back to War Master now. Is it back to more disappointment with Escape from Reality?
I'd say it's the same level, to be honest.
Did you finish this set?
No.
How far did you get?
Just to where it was last time. I've not revisited it to the Sherlock Holmes story.
Yeah. I really rate the Sherlock Holmes story. Highlight of the set for me. The best War Master episode of the year. It sort of does suffer this set from the same problem as the last one, where it does feel very much like, we've got this idea, and then they just let each writer go off and do their own thing, and it doesn't all come together into anything particularly great. The sum is less, the whole is less than the sum of its parts in this case. And some of the parts aren't that great either. I think it's episode 1 and 3 are the highlights. Episode 1 goes on a bit, but isn't too bad with the Greek mythology. Episode 2 just feels like a bit of an odd one. Episode 3, like I say, amazing stuff. And then episode 4, I didn't get on with it. No. I think it also didn't help that we had 2 Victoriana stories in a row here. I think you could tell why they wanted to do Dorian Gray, and it feels very much like the same thing as the Tennant set. They started with the last story. They went, "Oh, we want to do a Dorian Gray story," and then built the rest of it around that somehow. They forced it to fit. I'd say maybe a good escape from reality. because I do think it's better than self-defense. I'd say a good escape from
Okay.
reality. And now this was the real shocker because we had two Time War got there in the
Two-time
end
war.
sets in
December.
December last year. God, these feel quite long ago, even though it's only been a month and a bit.
Hey, we've had Draguary. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
we have indeed. But yeah, we had these two stories, and going in, we expected War Master banger, War Doctor disappointment. What we got was quite the opposite.
Literally.
Do you want to take it away with this one?
Yeah, this is an absolute banger of a release. This is the type of story we've been waiting for, really, for a Time War, and I think this proves that longer stories are better. With the overarching thing, like there is a sort of a hunt to kill the Barber Surgeon, who is basically this rogue Time Lord who is destroying Time Lords and Daleks, and both of these sides want to get the Barber Surgeon's weapons so they can put an end to this war. So the War Doctor is sent on basically a suicide mission, and it is some of the best storytelling you'll get. Jonathan Carley is bringing his A game. Not that he hasn't brought his A game in the other box sets, but this is another level of performance. This proves that it's not just an impression, it's a performance, and you can see all the hard work him and Louise Jameson have done to marry the two together. You get this fantastic result in this box set.
Yeah. I mean, we said last week about how River Song with Friend of the Family, that was the River Song story. You know,
Yeah.
that was everything you need to know about a character in this one place. And on top of that, it's just an amazing story. I think you get the same with this with the War Doctor. This is
Yes.
the War Doctor story. And I think with it being a three-parter, it allows for a sense of scale that the Time War almost necessitates.
Mhm.
It gets that down very well. And it's got some wonderful characters on both sides as well, with the Dalek Hunter Killer and the way the Dalek Time Strategist is worked into this. I think it's wonderful stuff. And just seeing how reality and the Doctor's life is coming apart around him is gorgeous, and lets Jonathan Carley let loose with that performance, like you say. It's also packed with a bunch of references by the time you get to the end. Yeah, like there's a reference to the Doctor Who: An Exciting Venture with Daleks book, isn't there?
Yes.
With
Yeah.
how, well, I won't spoil quite how that works in there, but that is a surprisingly nice touch for this story. And it's all about different realities, and it practically says canon doesn't matter in a way, doesn't it? At the same time.
And the
So-
Barber Surgeon is a great villain. The way they build up to him, like you've got a clear idea of what this character stands for.
Yeah. I love how meta it gets towards the end of that as well. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, my favorite part probably be part one of this set. Just the way it sets up and builds things up.
Well, I love part two just because of the moment of a certain body hanging.
Oh yeah.
That's what sold it to me. I was like, whoa, they've gone that far.
Was it ever revealed what the location was there? Because the Doctor was going on about how all this place feels familiar and such, or it brings back bad memories or something. But I never put my finger on what it was meant to be.
No, I don't think I did either. I just assumed it was just Earth.
I mean, it was definitely somewhere on Earth.
Yeah.
But they never. It seemed like the way they were talking about it was like it was a reference to a past story where something bad presumably happened. But I can't think what it's trying to reference.
Jodrell Bank, maybe? I don't know.
But no, it's meant to be like more
yeah, like the beginning dinosaur time, isn't it?
No, not quite that. I think it was only 1,000 years back.
Oh.
But it's certainly more Mesopotamia or something, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, only the best, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
I'll let you have this one.
There's no question.
Yeah. And now we come to the latest release. Sort of like the reason for doing this tier list, I suppose, isn't it? As we
Yeah.
return to the Time War with the Eighth Doctor, we thought we've got a recent War Doctor release we want to talk about. We've got an Eighth Doctor upcoming release, or well, now released one. Why don't we just tier list the whole of the Time War at this point, just to cover it all in one stream? But the Eighth Doctor, Time War, Cass. What do you think of them bringing Cass back first? And how you've only listened to the first half of the story, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Whereas I've got through the whole thing. But how do you feel about how they've worked Cass into this?
I think they've worked Cass in brilliantly because I think it's a sort of rejuvenation of the range, as it were.
It's a good jumping on point.
Yeah, I think so. And I liked Cass in Night of the Doctor. Because she's sort of the anti-companion, as it were.
Yeah.
Whereas now you get her front and center companion.
I mean, I certainly was a bit skeptical when they announced it because I was thinking people are more liking Cass just because she's the only TV Eighth Doctor companion of sorts to grasp onto. It feels like there was more love there than the character necessarily deserved. Not that I dislike the character or anything. It's just that 3 minutes of runtime isn't enough to really do much for any character. But yeah, the way they've come back to her in this, I mean, I think this is such a well-written trio. They bounce off each other so well. It's great having Sonny McGann there as Alex again. And it's wonderful the way he sort of flirts with Cass. But the way Cass very much dismisses that and sort of treats him as more of a younger brother. I mean, you got the Doctor and Alex sort of competing for her attention, but not necessarily in a romantic way for the Doctor. I think it's a wonderful trio. They all bounce off each other very well. There's brilliant dialogue throughout this set. And I think they are very much the heart of this set and what I enjoy the most about it. And I also like how it treats the Time War. This is finally the Doctor on the edge. We don't have Gallifrey involved in this. This is just the Doctor trying to enjoy life still. He's that hopeless romantic, trying to get the most out of life as the universe is falling apart around him. And you very much get that idea with time going wrong in this story, or these stories, rather. And it's wonderful how that plays out. You get like hints of bliss, perhaps something's happened to her. And yeah, I think it works very well the way this set treats the Time War for me. This is the kind of Eighth Doctor Time War set that I've been wanting for a while, and I'm glad we finally get it here. The stylish one has just asked, so how does the whole casting affect your outlook on Night of the Doctor? Do you think who cares if it affects Night? It's brilliant story / dialogue, or do you hold Night and don't want anything else? I think it all depend on where things go from here, because this isn't the end for Cass. And so, it all depends on how they play out that story and how they work out a way of explaining that Night of the Doctor thing for me. What about you, Ben?
I think Night of the Doctor stands on its own, really. And I think it's hard with Night of the Doctor not to be transported back to when you first experienced it. So, yeah. I think you're always going to have Night of the Doctor in high regard because of what it is.
I think the stylish one is more asking about, Cass being there. And whether or not this story shouldn't happen and Night of the Doctor should remain as it is, with Cass just being this unknown person. Because the whole thing of the companion who never was with her is sort of defeated by the fact that she does become a companion here. But at the same time, I like the way that it's playing with that idea of the Time War, that she could be a companion at one point and then lost the next.
I think the Time War's a great blanket to cover these plot holes, so I think it's fine overall.
Yeah, I think they'll come up with an explanation, or already have come up with an explanation, presumably. And I mean, we'll just have to see where things go with Time War 6, because we do have a cliffhanger at the end of this one. And we know we are getting a Time War 6 next April, isn't it? That's set for.
Yeah, I feel like it's having the Stranded problem where it's like, oh gosh, come on.
Yeah. But overall, I did quite enjoy this set. I love the expansion of Cass as a character.
I liked it in episode 2 about her talking about her dad, and then her dad not being around anymore.
Yeah, she's very much a ship buff, isn't she?
Yes, yeah.
And so it's wonderful how that sort of characteristic is played in and expanded on in this. And yeah, I just really enjoy, again, the dynamic between them and how quickly that's set up.
I
how
do
strong
think
these characters are.
we're missing a scene.
Would that be like in between episode 1 and 2, or
in between Time War 4 and episode 1 of Meanwhile Elsewhere?
what would that be? Or would that be avoided?
I just think the Eighth Doctor going, hang on, you're my grandson. What's going on here? I think we needed more for like the reviving of him.
Well, he knew who he was.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of hinted at that he might be keeping that from Alex.
I just think we kind of missed something of like establishing where we left off, really.
I don't mind that because it's nice having them together for a while, that they've built this dynamic. And then you're throwing someone else into that dynamic and making it work even better. Yeah. I think it's just Paul McGann is clearly having a blast recording this box set as well. Like, there is so much good dialogue for him to tweet into, and he is clearly enjoying so much of it. There's some great Dalek lines. Dalek conversations from the Doctor's point of view. But at the same time, it does feel a bit almost Eve of the Dalek-y. Like,
right.
I could see there being, if this was more popular, there being a aiming discourse again over one point in this story, even though it's on audio. It's rather awkward. But I mean, I can't. The Daleks were much better treated in War Doctor Begins, He Who Fights with Monsters. The Daleks in this, they're only in the last 2 episodes, the final 2-parter, and they're not all that great in it. Again, they sort of feel a bit more like window dressing.
But that's the Daleks in the Time War stories in general, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like how they're treated in most Time War stories. Overall, Cass is probably my favourite 8th Doctor Time War. I like this new direction they're going in. It lighted my flame. It lit my flame.
Okay. There we go. That's the Time War tier list then, all done.
Yeah. Hopefully this whole Bliss thing gets resolved when she's available to record again, says the Toy Maker's Cat. I wouldn't mind if we don't get Bliss back.
There we go. Personal preference.
Selfishly.
You just want more Cass.
She's so much better, though.
I would definitely say there's more of an impact with Cass. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's great how it feels like they've done more in just 4 stories than Bliss did in 4 box sets. Yeah. Toy Maker's Cat also says, I think with how wibbly-wobbly the Time War is, I'm totally fine with Cass being a companion 1 minute and gone the next. I mean, the first episode saw companions literally come and go. Yeah, that's very true. I think I'd rather not it be that wibbly-wobbly as it was in the first episode of, Ship of Theseus.
You kind of get a remake of it in the form of the first story of Cass.
Yeah, it does very much feel like a callback to Ship of Theseus, doesn't it, with the setting? Or Whovian with a small collection says Defo think they're going to start 3 box sets per Doctor soon. Is that like for the relaunch stuff?
I mean,
Even small
yeah,
collection.
I can see that.
How would you guys rank the 4 Dark Eye sets? For me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd go 1,
Diminishing
4,
returns.
1, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'd probably go 1, 4, 2, 3 as well. Or maybe 1, 2, 4, 3.
But yeah, if you got any last questions before we wrap up for the night, pop them in the chat.
Yeah, do let us know.
Any recommendations from the Dalek sale? Just get anything really.
How about
Dalek
one
Universe.
Let's see. Yeah,
So,
Dalek Universe is always great.
Want some good 10th Doctor? Dalek Universe is a banger. Dalek Empire, always a good one.
Yeah, it's quite a lot on sale, isn't there? There's just so many Dalek stories.
We Are the Daleks, if you've not got that.
What Lies Inside, if you want a more recent one.
That's
great, because that's now back at pre-order price. But as for like a lot cheaper earlier ones, Curse of the Daleks.
Apocalypse Element, that's a good one.
Brilliant.
Davros is a great one. Warmaster Anti-Genesis, Blood of the Daleks. Enemy of the Daleks, that's another good one.
Masters of Earth is brilliant.
Yeah, Masters of Earth is good. Energy of the Daleks.
Yeah. If you're a big fan of Dalek Invasion of Earth, but want that more gritty style to it, like you want more of what you get in part 1, really, that atmosphere. Masters of Earth has that and more. It feels somewhat modern and similar to modern post-apocalyptic stories that we get. A bit like Last of Us, I guess, but not as quite as bleak. But there's certainly hints of that bleakness, isn't there? It's playing off Terry Nation survivors in what he would have made of this world. And yeah, there's some dark stuff in this story. And I love the ordeal that was Perry through.
Yes, Perry. That whole trilogy just Perry's so dirty.
Yeah.
Dalek Occupation of Winter, really good one. Daughter of the Gods as well, actually, is really good. I know one you really like, Return to Skaro.
Yeah, that's great.
That whole box set's worth getting. First Doctor Volume 4.
If you haven't got any Bradleys yet, that is a great place to start with him. If you're in the mood for more after Power of the Doctor.
Yeah. I think that's the best David Bradley set, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting seeing more and more love for David Bradley as time's gone on.
Yeah.
And not just thanks to Big Finish, also just from TV fans in general as well.
Yeah.
What else have we got in this sale? I mean, pretty much all of the stuff that's on this Time War tier list is here as well. So you can judge off of that. Based on that. When do you think we'll get more Bradley? I personally think the end of this year is a reasonable guess.
Yeah, I say September, October time, maybe.
Yeah. Because I mean, they've said they've got plans. It's been a good little while since we last had him. I think Stephen Noonan will have settled in by then after his second box set. We'll probably be getting more Stephen Noonan early next year. So I think it makes sense to have it distance a bit and have it be in between the 2 Noonan box sets.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, September, October would be my guess there.
I didn't vibe with the Apocalypse Element. I quite like the Apocalypse Element because it shows the desperation of the Daleks will go to achieve victory, even using the mutants in an effective way. I really like it. I mean,
Well,
Luke wouldn't know that because he's not a
no.
1 to 50, you know.
Yeah, wanker.
Yeah, you said it, not me.
Oh. Well, it's our ABC, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Lord. I've just seen the vinyls for Dalek Universe have a bit of the price knocked off as well.
Maybe it's time for me to go for it.
Yeah, 32.39.
That's not too bad.
Oh, the overall fine. The bundle price is still the same though. 9. I think. Yeah, I think it's actually cheaper to get them individually at the moment than it is to go for the bundle.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, then you've also got postage as well, haven't you? Because
Yeah.
even if you bundle them, you have postage to pay. They're a bit cheeky with that, aren't they, with those vinyls? Yeah. I think.
I mean, it's payday, so you know.
Yeah. It's amazing thinking how much money we probably saved by not getting Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 2 on vinyl.
I mean, that's a different video discussing that. But yeah, I'm glad I've not got the vinyls for those.
Yeah, we'll save that for the end of the month.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said earlier, our schedule for this month is on the 10th, next Friday, we'll be back with some Torchwood discussion. Then on the 17th, Friday after that, we'll be going for some Kaleidoscope.
Focus.
We'll be diving back into that at last. That's sort of one of the ones we missed because we were doing the Regeneration Advent Calendar, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we were so focused on that Kaleidoscope sort of slipped through the cracks a bit, and also it took you a while to get into that one, but we could go into full detail with that. And then finally, like we say, February 24th, that Friday, we will be tier listing the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 2. Shades of Phil will be out by then, and that'll sort of be make or break for us, I suppose.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one goes down. Starch One, Master's Birth was good but overrated. Oh, he's at it again.
Oh,
Stop
no.
him.
Stop him. Take his keyboard away.
Curse of Davros is great, though. Agreed. Patient Zero is phenomenal. I've not heard that one.
No, I've not listened to that one either.
I suppose you've got that one, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is that 52?
No,
that's 101 to 150, isn't it?
That's 121.
There you go.
124, actually, yeah. 124.
No. Close enough.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, there we go. I've been loving the Bradley historicals. I think that's where that range really excels, to be honest.
I think it's a shame Stephen Noonan doesn't seem to get any historicals as such. Because like even The Outlaws is a pseudo-historical with the monk there. Maybe that. I mean, it looks like the next set may be a one long 6-parter. Which, I mean, I would hope we get a futuristic one for that.
Yeah, Dalek as well.
Maybe.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, nice. I think, he's definitely earned an encounter with the Dalek sooner or later.
It's a baptism of fire, as Sylvester McCoy says, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be good to get some historicals for the, pure historicals for the First Doctor again. Right, see you later, guys. Thanks for a great stream and great discussion. Thank you for joining us, Stylish.
Thank you.
Yeah, we won't be too much longer, I don't think.
No, not too much longer.
Joining us, giving us your hot takes.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Or has someone taken his keyboard away? Is that
yes? Stop.
Have I missed a joke here? Have I missed the sarcasm? Are you sticking around a bit longer?
Oh, I don't know. Toymaker's Cat, do you think we'll get a third Eccleston run this year? Put off as we're getting Want Some Future episode with him. I think we'll get a series 3 of Eccleston. I think that's been pretty much confirmed.
It looks like he's hanging around Big Finish for a while.
Yeah, he's a regular.
Yeah. He's having fun. He's getting paid. He likes it. But yeah, I mean, it feels a bit too late to announce a run in the same slot. And also, I think he could do with a bit of a break. Or we could do with a bit of a break from him.
Which seems weird saying, because, Eccleston was at Doctor Who, thought we'd never get him.
Yeah.
But
now, it sort of feels like we've taken advantage a bit, because now we get one every 3 months. for the last 2 years, and it's sort of worn us down a bit.
I think it just needs to rejig. Like, I
Mm.
think the companion of the week thing after 6 box sets it's a bit much
7.
now. 7,
Yeah.
7. Gosh,
Yeah, soon to be 8. But yeah, hopefully, I think maybe bring that back May 2024. It's like have a year gap. We'll have him in once in future. Maybe stick him in another special box or something, then return fully to the Ninth Doctor Adventures.
maybe just March, just to be for Rose.
Oh
just
yeah,
to-
could do.
But yeah,
It's certainly. I think it's too late now for a May release, and also May is looking pre-packed as it is.
yeah.
Like, what have we got? I mean, we've got Torchwood's Among Us, a box set. We got Daleks, Genesis of Terror, Sixth Doctor, Purity Undreamed, Once and Future starting, and we've got War Doctor Begins. I think that month is full now.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we are just having a bit of a break from Eccleston. And also, when Series 2 was announced before Lost Warriors, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It's amazing to think what a relief that was, that announcement.
Yeah,
we
always
like,
Kantarian.
Yeah. We were like going into that thinking, are we now halfway through all the Eccleston we're ever going to get a Big Finish?
Yeah.
No.
Let's savor it. Whereas now we're just spoiled.
Yeah. But, well, that's right. We'll save the rest of this chat for a couple of weeks' time. Because who knows, maybe Shades of Fear will come along and change all our opinions.
Yeah, maybe that's like an absolute banger of a box set, but for now, don't know.
Ooh, Tom Mason asks, "Can you see the hearts?"
No, I can't see.
I saw that as an update on my phone when I checked earlier. But
I think maybe because we're not actually on YouTube.
Yeah, I did just have a quick look and I couldn't see anything. I'm gonna check YouTube on my phone to see if these hearts.
I'm gonna do the same because love a heart. Send your hearts.
I think it's them copying the like TikTok type thing, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't or something.
Yeah,
Or is it Instagram Lives that has
Yeah.
like hearts that people can just click and
Yeah, I can see the hearts. I can see the hearts now on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see the hearts. We appreciate the hearts. So yeah, send the hearts.
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't know if they do anything or if they're just do
Hey,
they up engagement at all, or are they just aesthetic?
I'm liking it. I'm here for it. It's good. It's all good.
No, it seems you can also change the hearts.
You can change. Whoa, this is fancy.
So you can send a 100 emoji, a shocked emoji, a party one, and a laughing one.
Wow, this is amazing. It's quite the culture. But yeah, that's pretty much us done for tonight. I think we've done a Time War tier list, answered a few questions. It's been a good one.
Yeah, been a great time. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for the hearts.
Yeah, thank you for the hearts.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to do a bit of googling what those hearts mean now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been us now. So we'll be back on Friday, not this Friday. What's next
10th,
Friday?
next Friday.
We'll be back on the 10th to talk about some Torchwood. It should be fun. Something a little bit different.
It's something we do quite rarely, isn't it? So it's good. It's a chance to catch up on the Torchwood we've missed.
Yeah, and we get a lot of slack about, you don't listen to Torchwood. You should listen to Torchwood. Well, we're finally getting your answer. We're listening to Torchwood.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be your Torchwood stream for the year. You can shut up now and wait another year for the next one.
Literally. But yeah, for us, Torchwood is a sort of palate cleanser, as it were. A nice little, I'll have a bit of that, and then back to Doctor Who. So it's all good.
Tom Mason says, have you heard the new Doctor Who 60th news, the new cast announcement? Is that the one we had a couple of days ago, or has there been one while we've been live?
I think there's been another one. I can't remember the guy's name.
So is it official on Doctor
I
Who
think it
Twitter, or
was
is it one of
in.
those leaked ones?
I think it was in Doctor Who magazine.
Ah, is that where it's come from?
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be officially announced tomorrow then.
I just think it's somebody said joining Block 1 of filming.
So they've not given a
I don't know if
character
they've.
name or anything.
I don't know if they've given a character name. I think it's just this person's in Doctor Who.
I'm just having a look to see if I can find who it is. Put a name. It's probably going to be one I've not heard of or vaguely heard of.
Yeah.
And don't know who they are.
I've never heard of them, so.
No, I can't see it yet. It's not.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll get like an official. Well, I say official. Doctor Who magazine is official, but you know what I mean. A full-on one online for official social media stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much us.
Oh, apparently Caldwell, the new character, actually played a part in The Ultimate Evil.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
There we go then. That's one you never finished, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or did you never even started? I can't remember.
I don't think I ever started it, to be honest.
It is very season 22 in both good and bad ways.
Right. Okay. So it's authentic, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
It very much fits that same format, for better or for worse.
Okay.
Wow. There we go. Thank you for letting us know. Letting me know the news. Meant you just beforehand, it seems.
Yeah.
You've been keeping stuff from me. Anyway, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. We'll be back on the 10th, yeah? I think that's what we said. 10th. I'm just questioning it. It's late.
It's okay. I made a I looked at the dates when making one of the thumbnails the other night and put like the third Friday from January instead of the third Friday from February. So I got the date wrong on that.
It's easily done. Easily done. I hope you join the press team.
So when that goes out, when you'll see it, you've got the right date.
Yeah. Hope you two join the press team with Mr. TARDIS with Big Finish. That'd be nice. So yeah, maybe we should get on with that. Maybe Big Finish, if you're watching, hit us up. We'll be delighted to join the press with you. But for now, we shall bid you a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you have a fun time doing whatever you're doing this week, and we'll be back on the 10th for some Torchwood shenanigans. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care.